How you doing, brother?
Blessed.
Man, I
Happy
think I
to be
might have
here.
said what up too early, man. What up on a Wednesday? Coop said he's blessed. How's everybody out there doing? Yo, man, we got a
Happy to
full
be here.
show today.
We do.
I
I
mean,
mean, we always do.
it was so much that happened this weekend. I mean, I'm sure that no one heard anything about the Oscars, but we'll touch on some of that stuff. We got some real heavyweight MCs that we're going to be rating today. Biggie, to name a few. Slick Rick, to name a few. Nicki Minaj, to name a few. Drake, to name a few. But yo, man, I don't know where I really want to start here. I want to welcome everybody into the room. Michael Williams said, "What's up, guys? What's up, everybody in the room, man? We're gonna be talking about a lot today." And shout out to everybody who is listening to us through streaming platforms. Make sure you go on According to Hip Hop on YouTube so you can subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live, so you can join in the discussion with everybody else. First things first, man.
Hmm.
Um,
Right. Go ahead. No, no, no,
All
no.
right,
Go
I
ahead.
guess we can
You got it.
we can guess we got to, man. Everybody else is doing it. I guess we'll start with the slap. So for people who haven't heard, at this year's Oscars, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, that was in regards to her bald head, which she suffers from alopecia, and Will Smith went on stage, live television, in front of the world, slapped Chris Rock, sat back down, and the world's going crazy. Okay. First of all, man, let me ask you this because I'm already seeing this in the chat. Do you think it was real or staged? Because that was always the first question that people were asking.
I'm always 50-50 on those types of things. But there was something very emotionally sincere about the disdain on Jada's face that
Mhm.
makes me think otherwise. And just the look on her face makes me think otherwise.
Okay. Hold on, we're having some signal issues. Let's see. Okay, you look better now. Okay, so you said the look on Jada's face is what makes you
Yeah.
feel like it was genuine.
There was sincerity to that emotion in the moment.
Okay.
The way it kind of struck her. You know what I mean? You could see it emotionally strike her.
You
Different.
know what? I noticed that immediately when the joke was actually told. When
Yeah.
they panned out to Will and Jada, I was like, "Yo, Jada's not feeling this joke," because at the time Will was laughing, right? And
Right.
and then next thing you know, he's coming up, and what happened, and then my whole TV kind of like went blank. I guess because they're already on a delay or whatnot. And it's funny, we were just talking about award shows, and we're gonna get back to that, and the delays in live performance. And I told you guys last week. Now it's not gonna be able to go up there, do a performance, and do some rebel shit. They have delays on these things in case of these type of situations. So you better believe the Grammys is going to be policing this even extra heavy now. But one of the things that I took away from it, and I guess we can get into all the nuances and the aftermath of it and everything that people is talking about based on the events that took place. But
Mhm.
the fact that Jada just sat there throughout the whole thing and watched it like the rest of us is, what is really striking to me. Because, man, if I would have done something like that, man, Dana would have been stopping me the whole way. You remember when Kanye went up there and said what he said, during Taylor Swift's award, and he said that Beyonce, made the greatest video of all time. They panned to Beyonce. She's like, "Oh my God, no, Kanye, sit down." You know what I mean? Like there was none of that.
Right.
And so that's interesting to me. It's one thing that, one person may have lost their cool in the moment, but that's why we have each other to kind of, yo, chill, man, cool, it's not worth it. And even when he sat back down and he was yelling and cursing and all that, she wasn't like, Will, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I found that very, very interesting. And I find it interesting that nobody's talking about that.
So let's unpack a couple things. This is what I mean about the sincerity of her emotional reaction. Well, y'all were front and center because, like most people kind of had figured and was projected, well, he's about to win Best Actor. And so they have y'all front and center for a reason. And they're going to be flashing to you all night. And so I say this, and I kind of want to say this like carefully. It's like, well, this is his night, and she had a major part to play in it going awry with her reaction in real time. Because, Mike, they're actors and actresses. What do they do for a living? They put on for the camera. And so even though she might have been offended, and even though the hair issues, I mean, and we can start unpacking, hair issues just with Black women in our culture and the beautification of white women's hair in this culture too as well, if you'd like, because that's part of the sensitivity issue of it. But this is also a classically trained actress whose husband is about to win Best Actor. She couldn't have held face and they couldn't have thrown hands backstage like 5 minutes later.
And even if she
Like
felt, this is what I'm gonna say.
I'm just asking questions.
I feel like this, and to piggyback off what you're saying, I feel like if Jaden, their son, was in that same place, the mother in her would have stopped him from going on stage.
Ooh, that's strong.
I believe that. I truly believe the mother in her, if this was Jaden or Willow in Will's situation in that moment, I feel like the mother in her would have stopped her child from going on stage. Now, we have no way of knowing that, but I'm just saying, when it comes to, like you said, putting on, and even if you were offended in that moment, you understand the greater good for the person that you care about. Mm-hmm. Because even if somebody would have talked slick about my mom in front of me or whatever, and then I go try to, whoop their ass, whatever, my mom's going to be like, no, don't do that.
Right. Well, there's also, too, like, well, there comes, when you've been with somebody and you know somebody, like, when they've had enough. Mm-hmm. Or anybody else knows that they've had enough. And so it's the kind of co-signage of it too that I'm also like, bringing into question. It's like, it's like, no, you should know him better than anybody else. And if that's out of his character and he's getting out of character, you should be the first person to emotionally be able to recognize that. Because here's the thing. Oh, he emotionally realized what happened to you and did something about it immediately, because he is obviously, to be quite frank, he's fed up with being the punching bag of the jokes and being a nice guy to everybody.
Exactly.
Will's from Philly. And when people are talking about the slap and how they would have thrown a punch and it's like, first of all, no, you probably wouldn't.
No. Let's rewind there, because Nipsey Hussle slapped somebody at the BET Awards. And we was like, rah, whatever, victory slap, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Didn't Raekwon open hand slap Joe Budden once?
Yeah.
Right. And no issue was raised about that. But when Will does it, you see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, that's a soft move and it's this, that, and the other. And not to be funny, you want to know what I thought about when I saw it? I thought about Snoop Dogg's diss record to Suge. What's it called?
Pimp slap. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do. And
spitting, next to spitting and then slapping. It's the S's: spit, slap, stomp, disrespect.
Yeah, and so you're gonna disrespect my wife, then I'm gonna slap you. And again, I want to be clear: I'm not co-signing anything that Will did, but I'm just saying, as a man, I understand. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say what somebody shouldn't have done in the moment. Now, what I will say though, and I'm not sitting here blaming this, that, and the third. When people lose their cool, they lose their cool. But people around them who haven't lost their cool, it's on them to make sure that, yo, man, chill out. Calm them down for a second, especially when it's a person that the joke was initially about. Now, there was two opportunities that Jada had here. Let's just say she missed the opportunity to stop him, you know what I'm saying, when he went up there and actually slapped Chris Rock. That's one thing. But when he came and sat down and he's still cursing, there's no camera angle or anything that caught her like, Will, chill out. You know what I'm saying? And he did it twice.
Right. And so I'm speaking to the fact it's like, well, don't tell me you don't know. And so let's speak some proof to life right quick. There was once upon a time in my life where one of my dear friends, who's still a dear friend of mine to this day, and he used to be my roommate once upon a time, a long time ago when we were much younger. He came to me one day and he was like, Coop, I'm not comfortable with you having a gun right now because of how you were behaving. Because I'm afraid something is going to happen to you because of how you are behaving. I want you to put your gun away and keep it in the house from now on and stop riding around with your gun. Because he's seen how I was behaving. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And him being close to me and knowing how I behave when I feel a certain type of way, he was like, oh, no. Let me go ahead and put a stop to that before that even starts. And that's why I'm saying, like, where's that in the most important moment of his career?
Spliff Spark says, no, it's on Will. None of us are perfect. Like, even the most chilled, logical people get to a point where they're fed up. It happens.
And that's the other part of this that I don't like. Where's like where this holier than thou thing where people been acting like they never put their hands on somebody else.
Right.
I'm not that person that's about to come up here and say that. It's like, I told you, Mike, behind the scenes, it's like, man, I was like, I can't say shit. I was like, I'm put my hands on so many people and had so many people put their hands on me in some sort of form of confrontation. It's like, who am I?
No, you're right. It's like that Monday morning quarterback and everybody acting like ain't nobody ever been in a fight before. Now, I get it. Will's 50 years old. But see, again, the thing is, people put celebrities on such a pedestal like they're superhuman to, you know, for lack of a better term. They're more than human and they're above what average people do. No, they're human just like everybody else.
Right. So let's address like the elephant in the room. And this is what I mean. It's like, oh, I see mental health issues going on. It's like, damn, like Will need to talk to somebody. Like real shit.
Yeah.
Like therapy, because obviously all these things that have come out about the inner workings of his marriage and his personal life and his wife and all the coverage and all the years of being the punching bag and considered to be the soft rapper just because he doesn't curse and has, you know, a big movie career and a big sitcom, which in any other ethnicity would be like, greatness would be bestowed upon him like tenfold. But, up here, he's a soft ass nigga. We so backwards, I swear. We are. We're so backwards.
Well, we can have a whole show on that.
We be trying to justify shit. But anyway, I say all of that to say that, like, he's been holding and playing this face card for over 3 decades.
Can he get credit for that at least, people?
Right. Like, Mike,
we've never even seen Will Smith get a speeding ticket. Mike, you know what I'm saying? In this crazy industry of Hollywood where people get caught with all kind of drugs, all kind of shit. Will hasn't even had a speeding ticket that we know of.
Man, Mike, we talking about 3 decades of good behavior, not 30 days.
Yeah, man. He been on the scene since 87, man. Shout out to Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat. He says, I think Will had a snap moment and is fed up with the public disrespect. He's eaten this award. He's eaten this award season. Every show he's won, and he's been dissed.
Oh,
you know what? This is one thing too. Go ahead.
So hold on. That's what I'm saying. So see, because he's taken it for so long, it's part of the catalog when he comes along. It's part of the script. Throw some shade because Will's gonna be able to take it. It's gonna be okay.
You're right.
Will like, nah, nigga, I'm from West Philly. Officially not okay anymore. You want to get that ass whooped next time? Because I tell you what, like people acting like, oh, he slapped him. It's like, man, do you know how big like Will Smith is in relationship to Chris Rock and how quick he rolled up on him? He really could have threw him a fade if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like if he wanted to fade him right there, he would have faded.
Shout out to a pimp named Slickback with the super chat. He said there are thousands, if not millions, of black men in the cemetery defending their woman in honor. Fellas, think before you act emotionally. I think that's an interesting point, and that's a
No,
fair point.
no, no,
But
no. This is his wife. No, no, no. This is his wife of almost 2 decades.
yeah,
No, 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 brother. Like you the one that's backwards.
but this is the
Like you
thing.
need, no, no,
When
no,
you
no, no.
talk
You need
about
to
your wife,
fundamentally understand what it means for
yeah,
somebody to like be married and join to you and what it means.
yeah,
Don't come in here talking that you
you
talking
got to be
backwards. This
willing.
is that backwards basic shit I'm talking about.
You got to be willing to die for your wife and your kids. I'm sorry. And
Period.
I know that for
What,
some people that might be toxic masculinity and all kind of bullshit that I've been hearing on different media outlets and the male patriarchy and this and that. Listen, man, if you're not willing and ready to sit there and die for your wife and kids, what are you here for?
I mean, it literally says like it's almost biblical that you're supposed to protect even more than you're supposed to love. You understand that? Like as a man.
Exactly. But we getting a bunch of super chats now. Shout out to LP with the super chat. He says not gonna be around and not sure if y'all reviewing the Fife album. I listened to the Fife album, but Fife's mom painted a better picture of a good kid, Mad. I'm sorry, GKMD in one of the songs than K Dot's whole album. Oh, okay, Good Kid, Mad City. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Fife. We might save that one for Friday. And Jason with the super chat says, what y'all think about Benny versus Freddie Gibbs? We're going to talk about that too. We're going to get to that in a second. I was thinking we might start with that, but, we'll start with this. Blue Collar Hustler says, Will told us 17 years ago that all that disrespect was bothering him. And a guy in 2005, surprised he took this long to react. He said, check Mr. Nice Guy in 2005. Surprised it took this long for him to react. Everybody has their breaking point, and everybody has their boiling point. And normally, let's just keep it real. Your wife, disrespecting someone's wife in front of their face is pretty much everybody's boiling point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so when this brother's sitting up there talking about, oh, there's plenty of brothers in the grave from standing up for, no, that's not a woman. That's his wife.
Yeah, exactly. And someone is saying what I keep seeing out there, it's a joke. It's not death or it's not a life or death situation. I agree with that, but we got to keep that consistent as well because just because they went and dug up a whole bunch of Kevin Hart jokes from years and years ago, they canceled him from hosting that same exact show. It's just jokes, right?
I mean, Mike, let's say we were big stars and like you and Dana were front row and like we were all sitting waiting to get in the war for according to hip hop. And somebody like were to say something inappropriate, like to her publicly, and everybody were to hear it. Emotionally, I would check on you and be like, hey, like, are you okay? And then I would be like, so which one of us is going to catch the charge and bail each other out tonight? Because we about to go handle this motherfucker as soon as these cameras go off.
I think a lot of people,
everybody needs to stop acting like they don't even think that way in the moment. Like it be some kumbaya. Like no, that's not how you think in that moment.
What's interesting to me is a lot of people who are already, and are already on some rah-rah shit. They talking down on this like it's just beyond. And I think the reason why is because of who it is and where it was done at. Now, if you sit here and make this a blanket situation, or if it was Ray Ray or whatever at the comedy club and it happened, no one's outraged. But since it's Will Smith at the Oscars, then that's just traumatizing. Amy Schumer's out here talking about she's still triggered and traumatized from this event. You've never seen a fucking fight in your life, Amy Schumer? Let's be real.
First of all, sit your ass down. Nobody invited you to the barbecue. She's the only name I got written in the notes other than Amy Schumer, Will Smith, and Nas at the Grammys. I'm like, what is wrong with white people? This is why this is why we don't trust them, because they come out and say stupid shit like this, and it's like I was traumatized. Shut up.
So now y'all scared of Will Smith, huh? Y'all think Will Smith gonna come out and slap you, huh?
Yeah,
well, if you don't say anything about his wife's hair, then
And for all these black elitists like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming down on Will Smith today, it's like y'all are the worst because y'all are the ones that are, supposed to be insulating him and protecting him right now, and instead of doing that, Y'all are eradicating his 3 decades of good service with your diatribes and your epitaphs about his situation.
Yeah.
Like you won't whoop a nigga's ass for disrespecting your wife.
I've seen Kareem whoop somebody's ass on court. I mean, I have.
Hello.
I see Michael Sanders saying that the joke wasn't disrespectful. I mean, again, we've
To you,
seen Will Smith take a lot of jokes over the years. I think
you.
that this one, let's just be honest, it has something to do with the actual individual who was telling the joke. Because
Right.
Chris Rock has a long history of, for whatever reason, going in on Jada Pinkett Smith.
Right.
And I don't know this, who knows, but I would imagine if Will felt this strongly about this man saying his wife's name, he's been warned about this before.
Even if he hadn't been, you just got your warning.
Yeah.
There go your warning.
And then he said live on stage, I'll keep her name out my mouth. Okay.
Glad
Cool.
we got that. Look, I'm glad that we got that taken care of.
And Joe Bro says, so smashing his wife ain't disrespectful. Well, listen,
No.
it's clear that they have a clear, open situation, and they have an understanding about that. Whether people, want to agree with that or not, it didn't seem like Will was too surprised when the news came out. They knew these things. And even August Alsina said himself that he got Will's permission to do so. So whatever they got going on, that's on them. But this wasn't warranted. It is what it is. And when you do things that aren't warranted, you can't tell people how to react to them. If I say something to you that you don't like, I can't tell you how to react to that. I mean, I can't. I could hope that you react in the way that I think you should. But, I don't know, man. I think maybe internet culture and comment section culture kind of got people tripping, where it's like you think you can say anything to anybody and nothing's going to happen. That's not the real world, unfortunately.
It's not. It's not how it works.
In the physical world here, you say something, whether you think it's warranted or not, somebody might do something. It is what it is.
Right. Right. We'll move to the next thing.
Yeah, let me get to the super chats real quick before we go on to the next thing, because we could be on this forever. Blue Collar Hustle says, there's a cultural difference between us and them. That Will slap wouldn't have been anything in a black space, because we know wives are off limits. That's an interesting point.
Thank you.
And Ray Rim says, the worst thing about crossing the line is when you don't know you already have. Huh?
Well, see, that's the thing. Chris Rock's type of comedy, too, especially how he freestyles live, like a lot of great comedians do. Oh, what's the Dave Chappelle, habitual line stepper? Oh, yeah, Chris Rock is a habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
He will cross the line habitually.
A pimp named Slipback says, y'all mentioned the Bible. The Bible said an adulterous wife should be stoned. So let's keep it consistent since we're pulling the Bible out.
Well, since you're pulling the Bible out, that way of actually dealing with people actually got eradicated through the blood of Christ. So read the Bible from beginning to end. Thank you. Next.
All right. You know what? Let's talk about this Benny and Freddie thing, man.
Yeah.
Even though, a lot of us want us to kind of skip this commentary or this subject, because, I never want to act like I'm heightening up any kind of beef, especially with individuals that we know are on, on some real rap shit, right? For lack of a better term. They make great music together.
Yeah.
I don't really know how this kind of blew all the way up to this point without them being able to talk through it or talk about it, but it sounds like Freddie Gibbs is gearing up to drop a diss record at the end of the week. What do you think about this whole back and forth between Freddie Gibbs and Benny the Butcher?
So this is what I mean about, so let's look at this. People look at somebody like Will Smith and Chris Rock and they're like, oh, is that stage? But guys who have been making classic records together for like the last 2, 3, 4 years, solid, rift and we don't know why. And there's a beef going on. And We don't talk about that potentially being staged. So, A, we don't know how valid this is just yet.
Right.
Because, like you said, we live in media where like people kind of take shots via the internet, and all these cheap things get your likes up, get your streams up, get people hyped up, get people anticipated, and battle, battle is part of the culture,
It is.
and when handled properly, great for the culture. As far as the reasons and the rationale for it, and this is just back pages talk. It seems like, and I was told this, that like Gibbs's manager, Westside, got into some words over the internet last summer over a comment that I think Gibbs' manager made about him being the only nigga around that dropped like 2 classic albums in 1 year, something like that. And I think Westside took offense to that. Obviously, given the run that he had lately, specifically in 2020, dropping 3 albums, they're all pretty well received, critically acclaimed. Pray for Paris, obviously being what it was. And then there was also some talk possibly that Benny's camp didn't love how Freddie wasn't around as much when Benny had got shot. And so those are just some of the rumblings that have been really nothing solid.
LP has a comment about it on the super chat. He says, it started when Benny put out his tour dates and didn't have Houston on it. And Freddie said, dudes don't go to shows, they get robbed at. Huh. Blue Collar Hustler says, Freddie, another one who is a habitual line stepper. Yeah, and that's kind of right on cue. You kind of don't make light of, situations like that. That's definitely a touchy and sensitive subject anyway. Because, again, anybody could be touched, Like, nobody out here is bulletproof. And so that's a traumatizing experience for anybody, what I'm saying, regardless of how macho anybody comes across. So, yeah, to make light of a situation like that, I could understand that being a problem if everything that's, being said is accurate. I just hope they work it out, man, because, again, I think they're 2 dope artists that hip-hop needs to know more about. And, I know you were saying that, we need to see how official it is. I hope it's not even really – I hope it's staged. I'll put it that way. You know what I'm saying? And I hope it stays to the music because those guys make really good quality music. And I love what Freddie's been able to contribute to some of these Griselda releases, too. So.
Yeah, I like the work that he does with Griselda, like the entire camp. I think he fits in he fits into their camp to me very much in the same way that Redman and Nas kind of fit into Wu-Tang in different ways. It's like, oh yeah, like he fit, like both of those guys, didn't it seem when they got with them, it's like, yeah, but they fit right into what those guys do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In different ways. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not too much to talk about when it comes to this. I mean, I guess we'll be waiting for the records and a resolution, hopefully. Hopefully somebody like a Rick Ross, step in and be able to kind of, get these guys on the same page and clear up whatever. Because, like I said, we all human and people make mistakes and say things that they shouldn't say. And some things are, as y'all said earlier, just jokes, but taken to the wrong extent. So
right, and not to be funny, Mike. I mean, I don't think people understand like the subculture of rap now for artists like from city to city, who you don't know and what they do and how they move. Like Gibbs could have been making a comment about somebody locally for the town or the city that he was in for information he could have caught on the wire. You feel what I'm saying? That could have not even been for Benny necessarily like that, and Benny could have took that a certain type of way. It could have not even been meant for him. And Gibbs and Gibbs got the type of mind frame where he might be like, well, that wasn't even meant for you, but since you want some smoke, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, shit gets out of control, man. And it's like, it's one of those things where the miscommunication can lead to a whole lot. I mean, we saw that and I hate to continue to go back to this situation, but it's the most notable one in hip hop, the Pac and Biggie thing. I think if they would have had clear communication at a certain point, things could have leveled out to some degree.
Yeah.
But
That was
it
a
was
case
all
study.
fun and games for these publications at the time, and they were running with stories, and they were just heightening things even more.
Right.
So,
No. It's a case study on how not to handle these things.
oh, definitely, we have that case study, and hip hop is very, you know, you don't have to be a historian to know what could have
Right.
been saved there. I think I remember Russell Simmons saying something like he was, um, he wishes that he would have handled it different.
Damn right. I bet you everybody feel that way. It's too late for that shit though.
Yep.
So, yeah, I ain't even trying to hear that shit now.
Yeah, nah, it
This thing with the woulda, shoulda, couldas. Why
really.
everybody was
I
there
mean,
live and go on. Right.
there were a lot. Listen, there were a lot of people that were veterans in the game that saw what was going on, and they were older and elders, and they could have done
No.
something.
Now there are some people that did try to talk the Pop. Like
Mhm.
Ice-T, I believe, and Chuck D tried to talk the Pop.
Yeah,
So it's like, but
yeah, it's
like I
tough.
said, case study.
It's tough.
Mhm.
All right. I wanted to address some things too from the previous episode, man, in regards to our statements about Nas performing at the Grammys, because you and I were kind of on the same page in saying that we don't think that he should perform at the Grammys. And I'm reading the comments in the comment section of that video, and people are like, "Yo, y'all are tripping. People think Nas should perform." And people are basically saying, why should he sit out and, because of, what Kanye did and this and that. I think we're mixing up a whole bunch of stories and rhetoric. I think we need to be clear that the reason why the Grammys X'd Kanye's performance is because of an individual Instagram post that he posted about the actual host of the Grammys, Trevor Noah. He called him a moon, something that rhymes with moon. I don't want our channel to get flagged for it, but I think you guys know what it was. And the Grammys made their decision. And so I think that the notion is that hip hop artists are that expendable, Kanye in particular, right? And my only point, and I'm not bashing Nas for doing the show, because, obviously, like everybody pointed out, Nas has earned the right to be able to do whatever he wants to do. He's a grown man, a veteran artist, greatest MC of all time. He can do whatever he wants. And I don't feel different if he does it or he doesn't. My only point is the Grammys need him more than he needs the Grammys. And I think other people feel otherwise. I think that we still validate these institutions. Because for me personally, the Grammys don't really mean much when it comes to hip hop. The Grammys have never earned that they mean something when it comes to hip hop.
I'm
gonna find
I just
some of
took a
these
quick note.
comments. Go ahead.
No, there's two sides to this because I think there are people that understand, like that the Grammys may need him, but I think for his fan base that's never gotten to see him get that critical acclaim and fanfare and get trotted around like the other greats maybe had, I think they want to see that for them because they've seen it happen with other artists and they want that
That's
for their
fair.
favorite artists. Right. And so I think that's what we're really hearing. We're hearing the people that have been waiting, like hardcore Nas fans that have been like waiting 20, 25 years for the Grammys to give him this type of due and this type of acclaim so they can see their favorite MC in that platform and in that way. So I think that has something to do with the response that we're getting, but the vitriol that we're receiving, is a little unbalanced in that regard because we're not saying, hey, don't do it. We're just saying, hey, you ain't got to. You're Nas. You made it this far and became the greatest MC of all time.
We got called fake revolutionaries.
Right.
I remember reading that comment. And that's why I'm wearing the fist today. I'm a fake revolutionary.
Oh, is that what we got called a fake revolutionary?
Yeah, because we said that the Grammys don't mean much. Listen, at the end of the day, man, even
Hey, whoever said that, pull up on me and talk that way.
see Will
Find
Smith.
out. Find out. Yeah.
Um, See, here's one of the comments. It says Nas has said a few times that he doesn't care about the Grammys, but it's important to the people who've helped him with the album. See, now that comment I understand. I get that.
Didn't you
I,
say that during the show?
I
Didn't you
did
say if
say
this is
that.
like about Hit Boy and like about everything around Nas and like you're totally cool with that? Didn't you say that?
I did say
Okay.
that.
I'm just making sure that you said that and that, like, I'm like at my advancing age and my get off my lawn like behavior just wasn't like, early on Alzheimer's or something and missed that. So you said that.
I did say that. Kenyon Smith says Nas has been doing the most powerful thing before any Grammy boycott. Answer: supporting and investing in Queensbridge and family. Keep up the good work. Yeah, of course. Listen, man, I feel what you're saying, and I think what you said is the most accurate thing. I think his fans want to see him get that public adoration, and I don't think it's for him specifically, but if he wants to give that to the fans in return, I'm with that too. But see, my only thing is, man, I don't understand why the Grammys are still important to us hip hop fans like that. What have the Grammys done for you to give them such high regard for hip hop culture? Like I remember when the Source was hip hop's Bible, they earned that. They earned that through actually, giving creditation to well-deserved hip-hop efforts and being right about it. And actually giving light to records that Rolling Stone and all the other publications at the time weren't giving light to.
No, and you want to know what? And when you say that in that regard, I immediately go to how I feel sometimes about people's instinctive and let the rhythm hit them and all for one, because I'm like, are those really 5 mic albums in relationship to what it became? And the answer is still yes, because like the classic material is there enough, but there was supposed to be an emphasis on emphasizing the greatness of our albums and our culture, because it's like, well, how did Rolling Stone rank people's instinctive?
We don't know.
And all for one.
We don't
know.
And it didn't matter. And it didn't matter because we had the Source.
Right. And like No Omega came on my playlist today, Mike, and I was just like, yeah, you can find Mike this.
Crazy rapping. Shout out to Blue Collar Hustle with the $20 super chat. He says, we don't give Nas credit for his strategic genius. It's no coincidence that Nas wins a Grammy the very year that he goes independent, performs solo after going independent. Katie won, shot back to #1 after he won. Nas deserves it. I'm pretty sure it's strategic. But the thing is, that what I don't understand though, it's like I don't think that the Grammy audience is checking for Nas like that. What is the Grammy audience? Even if we talk about the Oscars this past week, they had to pull a whole bunch of stunts, have Will Packard produce the joint, have 3 different hosts that represented all types of sides to get people interested in this award show again.
Like I said, this is about his fan base and him giving back to his fan base and him giving back to the whole team around him that's made this run with Hit Boy possible. No, I get all that. And I believe I said that too. I just don't love the way that it looks, given who he's been and the heights that he's ascended to without having to do any of this. That's all I said.
Because
I think that's all I said too.
Yeah, you did. We said all these things. The thing is, and I think maybe we didn't explain this to everybody's satisfaction, at least for me, I don't think that the Grammys have earned the respect of hip hop culture for us to give them such validation on hip hop artists. They haven't earned that. Look at the people who've won Album of the Year. They can't turn a corner and just change that. You have to earn that, and you have to earn that through time. And I don't think just picking Nas in a convenient time when you overlook Nas for all these years, like Coop said in the previous show when he was in his prime. It's time for you to start with somebody else. to earn that. LP says Nas spoke against payola, against magazines, radio stations, commercialization of hip hop, helped building the hip hop museum. He's cashing out. And it's interesting you say that. I remember that interview that Nas did in 2000, was it 2002? He was on Power 105 when right after the whole Hot 97 thing where they wouldn't let him perform. And he was saying that we need to start our own hip hop medias and all of that stuff. That was one of the things that drove me to start According to Hip Hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the thing that Nas was saying, I was like, he's right. Between that and when Jay said, when he was on Hot 97, he was talking about Jim Jones. He said, there should be a committee out there when they were asking him about Jim Jones throwing shots at him. He was like, there should be a committee out here that full of DJs or hip hop fan, whatever, that sanction these battles. They should be able to say, yo, Jim Jones and his resume has no, he doesn't warrant, he's not qualified to go against somebody like Jay. Like, you have no classic albums. You're in nobody's top 10. And I was like, yo, he's right. So those two mentalities I've always thought about when, cultivating something like According to Hip Hop and getting straight to the people. And I agree with what Nas said then. And I'm pretty sure he still feels that way. And it doesn't go against any of that he performs at the Grammys. All I'm saying is what Jay Prince, regardless of what y'all think the agenda of that is, what he's proposing is a real big step in a direction like that. Regardless, I mean, it's raging against the machine.
What'd he say on Success? Best friends want to be enemies, like that's what's in, but I don't give a fuck. Walk inside the lion's den, take everybody's chips, about to cash them in. Up your catalog, dog. Mine's worth too much. Success.
Yeah, I think he's going to perform, but again, man, I mean, I get it. If it's for the fans and the fans want to see it, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike.
No, go ahead.
I want the core fan base to understand something too, is that, well, part of what made his name bubble to the top in this pandemic time is the ceasing of the major label artists making projects and getting big promotional budgets. You see, Nas is one of those iconic and legendary names that the Grammys already knew because of how long he's been around and because of his star stature. And so it was easy to insert him into that climate because there's not as many stars coming out with albums during this pandemic.
You're right.
And definitely not coming to the quality of. So even Nas fans need to understand that part of the gravitas the Grammys is giving him is because the pandemic happened. Because had everybody been outside, I want everybody to understand this. Had everybody been outside, they might have overlooked King's Disease and King's Disease 2 like they normally do with Nas. And so you need to keep what's really going on literally in the world in perspective to that.
You know what? I agree with that. I think that is a very valid point. Shout out to the Truist with a super chat. He said, the Grammys, what M fans say M's the GOAT. Who cares? I think he meant something else. James Thomas says, I want to see Nas get his flowers. Now, as far as Will and Chris, it's simple. He embarrassed Jada, so Will embarrassed him. I think it's simple as that as well. But you know what? I mean, but this is the thing. Who are the Grammys to give Nas his flowers? That's my only point. And I'm not against Nas getting his flowers. Nas is doing incredible work. And, he got what was the cover of, was it Ebony or Essence magazine? They emailed me last year with the cover. I should know this. I think it was Ebony. But was it Essence? Okay. But yeah, he's getting his flowers from all kinds of places. But my thing is, does the Grammys supersede any of that? He's getting his flowers. Shout out to Kenneth Palmer. My homie Kenneth Palmer says, for years and years, we have watched Jay shine and win over Nas on the Grammys. I like to see Nas get that love for a change. So it's about that. So it's about Jay.
It's about no. See, that's what I mean in relationship to his contemporaries, which would be mostly Jay and Eminem too. in terms of like his prime when he was making his best materials, his best works. They've got Grammys to show and he doesn't. That's why I said if his fan base wants to see him like, carried around the way they got carried around, it's like, yeah, I'm fundamentally okay with that. But it's like, I'm also like kind of, well, fuck the Grammys because they got it wrong the first time, the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, seventh time. Why do they matter to our culture? Because we've been institutionalized.
I think that's a good point. A shout out to Rap Roundtable in the room. And speaking of Jay, and speaking of Rap Roundtable, are you interested in a new Jay-Z album? Because, when they was talking about Rosenberg, I think last episode or one of the episodes we were on, it was because Rosenberg is putting out there that Jay-Z might actually be working on an album. A, do you think we're going to get a Jay-Z album this year? And B, are you excited about a Jay-Z album?
Probably going to get an album. Let's speak about this objectively. If we're basing it on what we've been hearing, no, I'm not overly excited. But here's also what I'm going to tell you. It's one of the few artists ever that when he comes out with an album, it doesn't matter where he's at in his career or how you have him ranked or what he is or what he isn't to you. It's a moment for our culture when his album comes out. You understand what I'm saying? There aren't too many guys that when their project drops, it's a moment for us. When Snoop drops project, it's a moment. When Nas drops, because these are, you know what I'm saying?
Is it a moment when Snoop drops? Snoop drops a lot of music.
No, you're right. Maybe not Snoop, but Jay and Nas definitely when it comes to like music making. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna go check for it because of who they are, because you never know what they're going to give you because they are capable of giving you some of the best rap stuff ever. And so It's a moment. Like when I hear Faces coming out with an album, I'm like, oh, Face dropping, stop what I'm doing.
Oh, Leroy Green is in the building. Yeah, for this J topic. You're going to love what I have to say, Leroy Green. LP with the super chat. He says, how many Source Awards did Nas win? BET Awards, Soul Train Awards, Hip Hop Awards, Vibe Awards. The culture wasn't giving Nas anything either. Think that's an interesting point. We've spoken about this before. Yes, he's been getting robbed all around.
Yeah. Gonna stick up.
I think I cut you off, Coop. What were you saying?
I'm more or less, hold on. Where were we at?
We're talking about Jay releasing an album, and you said that was a moment.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's Jay, so I'm gonna check for it and see what's there. It's just I haven't been excited since I went to get the Blueprint 3. But I remember. But this is what I mean about who Jay is. You remember the Purple Tape 2 and Blueprint 3 came out the same day,
they did.
Right?
Yeah.
I left work, like, to go to the Target. I used to work in Atlantic Station. I went to the Target in Atlantic Station because I was so busy I forgot that both of them had dropped. And I literally just, like, looked at my boss and I was like, I don't know how long I'm about to be. But boom, and out the door because that's who he is. And so he's still going to be that. Like, I'm going to be waiting at midnight. Everybody else is too.
Yeah, we are. And you know what's probably going to happen? It's probably going to end up being on Tidal for the first couple of days or something, or whatever mechanism he's selling us on for the release. It's probably going to be on whatever platform or maybe his website. I don't know. For the first couple of days.
He's gotten enough money out of me. I want an NFT if that's how he's doing it.
No, but I'm just saying he has that, like you said, it's a moment. He has that leverage and that ability to do that. He's not just going to put it out on every platform at the same time like anybody else. Shit, he could do what Kanye did with this Donda 2 and put it on a damn device or something. But with all that being said,
Kanye, hold on. How's that working out for Kanye, by the way?
I mean, financially, it's working out well.
Okay, how's the music sound though?
I still haven't heard it. I know they said it's on SoundCloud. I need to go do my homework and hear it. But
hold on, you knew it was on SoundCloud last week. Did you rush to go listen to it?
I did not.
You want to know why?
I know why.
Right.
I didn't hear that it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy level.
Correct. And so what I'm saying is that Jay hasn't made anything really dope since like the Blueprint 3. And so if he tries to do something like Kanye, it's like, oh, okay, go ahead and do that if you want to. Like, you ain't been making hot shit lately. You need to drop a project that people like hear and want to feel and want to hear the singles off of, like you normally do when you're making hot shit. So,
well, you know what? Interesting you say it like that because we we both are talking about the Blueprint 3. And when you talk about rolling out an album, I think that Jay-Z hasn't really gotten past that traditional way of releasing music. Like, the last time I was excited about a Jay-Z album was the Blueprint 3. And a lot of that was because of DOA and how that was launched. And then we heard, other songs, whether it be that first song on there, what was that, What We Talking About, or whether that be, what was the other record that they kind of had leaking where he was like spitting or whatever? I think Empire State of Mind came out fairly early. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that draws anticipation for a Jay-Z album traditionally. And even with American Gangster, there was a little bit of that going on with Blue Magic. And I think even with Kingdom Come, even though I didn't like Kingdom Come, the song Kingdom Come is incredible. And that was leaking. So he's used to that type of format of putting records out. Now people just put the full albums out. You know what I'm saying? You're not really going to have that time to have a song bubbling. And I don't think that he's adjusted to that point. This is what I'm going to say about Jay-Z putting out new music. I'm interested to hear it because, we get to talk about it. And but other than that, I don't see what the direction will be. I don't see what the direction will be, man. Like, people are saying the Blueprint 3 is solid, but the Blueprint 3, we also have to acknowledge, was 13 years ago.
Been
that long. 13 years ago. So,
yeah, it's been that long.
We got to acknowledge that part, right? It's a long time. Damn near going on 15 years for this album. Right. So, I don't know what the direction will be. What's the production like? What is it looking like? And see, that's the thing when it comes to the way Jay-Z's built up his catalog, because we're used to him having the hottest producers in the game are on his projects, right? And 444, for me, and I know people like 444, but maybe that's probably why it kind of fell a little bit flat to me. I don't really love him and No ID doing a whole album together. I don't.
I didn't love it, and people need to stop saying people say they love that album. Name me the top 25 Jay-Z song off that album. Because even with Kingdom Come, you know what I'm saying? Like, that album doesn't even have that, Mike. It doesn't even have a Kingdom Come or a Lost Ones on it. It doesn't even have that. Stop saying that Kingdom Come.
The song Kingdom Come is much better than anything on 444.
Everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, Lost Ones and Kingdom Come are better than everything on 444.
No, that's real. Like, Lost Ones is too, yeah.
That's real. And so it's like, when I be talking about 444, like, it's not that good. I'm specifically saying that in relationship to who he is, what the expectation is, and what the catalog is. And it's like, this is about his intangibles right here. And part of why his intangibles are a 10 is because any other MC of this level makes an album like that, and we don't turn the corner and make the excuses that we make to try to make this album great. It's like, is this guy Jay-Z? Yes. Is he one of the greatest rappers of all time? Yes. It's like, is this the guy that made Reasonable Doubt? The Blueprint?
Yeah.
Volume 2? Volume 1? The guy that made 44 fours?
There's a standard here.
Is that the guy? Is that the guy that made 44 fours? Then do not tell me that 444 is good.
LP with the super chat, he said, now y'all woke, I'm laughing at niggas. Y'all used to say Nas talking that anti-establishment business. Not try to hear from certain people. It was another super chat down here too I want to get to before we get to the next part of it. And I do want to say what I got to say about the Jay thing too. LP also says Jay needs an album with Blueprint subject matter. The thing is, Jay doesn't need an album. That's the thing. It's like he needs an album contractually because obviously he has that Live Nation performance contract that he signed for like 10 years. I don't know how far they're on that contract now, but subject-wise and the way that he makes music, he has a Michael Jackson problem. You and I have talked about this before, and Prince, Sign of the Time, is celebrating 35 years today. But Prince was able to make music effortlessly because he didn't have to have those pressures of having home runs. Michael Jackson couldn't just put out an album. You know what I mean? And
No,
Jay
I
has
think
that problem. Jay can't just, and he tried it with 444, but he can't just put out an album with, regular
he,
songs. He
yeah, he just
has to
can't
have
do
hits.
right. That's what I mean about part of the intangibles and part of the allure and the persona that like he created. Because, and I'm gonna be like careful when I say this, man. His borderline hits are his best hits to me. Like Can't Knock the Hustle, Feeling It, like all that shit. It's like that. Do It Again is cool. Like, but you know what I mean. Like that's not. How often you play Do It Again when you want to hear Jay? How often you play I Just Want to Love You when you want to hear Jay? It's not even really his strength at the end of the day. And so when people are hearing 444, they're hearing like what he should have been doing much, much earlier, is what I'm saying. Right. He should have been doing that earlier when, like that, because what they're talking, how about this? He's very conversational on 444, which is what his strongest suit is, I think we both feel like. It's his conversational level is just beyond anybody. And he's that on 444. That don't mean the content is there. That don't mean his aura and his swag is there. That don't mean the lyrics is there. The beats are definitely not there.
Well, you know what? Let's keep it real. We're going to call this the slap episode, right? 444's draw was the Solange elevator thing, right? That was the draw for many people. And so everything in 444 was surrounded by that, him and Beyonce's relationship, that kind of stuff. I think those are the things that drew people to that album. And for those of us who could give a F less about that, it was less entertaining, right?
Right, but hold on. So let's touch on the respect level because you brought up the Solange thing. Think about this. Jay gets slapped in the elevator by a woman and not a word, not a joke.
It's funny.
Anywhere, at any point, any time. Your wife's little sister slapped you in the elevator and nobody made one joke. Will, wife, gets clowned all the time. You get what I'm saying? You see about like what I'm saying is like you think Will doesn't see stuff like that?
Yeah. No, real.
But
you know what? One thing I will say, I bet won't nobody make any jokes about his wife no time soon.
Oh, no. Because you want to know what? And I hope he do. The next person to feel bold enough to do it, I hope he really get up and whoop their ass next time. How about that?
Shout out to I Am Prolific with the super chat.
Since everybody playing kumbaya like we don't have mental health issues.
Yo, shout out to I Am Prolific with the super chat, man. Y'all need to go check out I Am Prolific's music, man. He has some banging shit, man. He emailed us some of his shit, and yeah.
Hey, hold on. I want to know where I Am Prolific is from. We get to the super chat.
Yeah. Tell us. No, that was the super chat. Tell us where you from, I Am Prolific. And but yeah, what I wanted to say too, as far as 444, right? So that was the theme of that. You can't repeat that. So now it's like, what? And that was the big draw with Jay's whole career. Reasonable Doubt was pretty much a aspiring MC who was just spitting crazy on some hustle shit, yada yada. Everything else he made that was so timely because the world was watching him. Jay was really good at being able to soak all that in and basically regurgitate it out into songs. Right now, what is there to talk about? I think that's his struggle currently. Other than Sonics, what is there for Jay to talk about?
Some of his struggle actually is in his strength. It's not that he doesn't have things to talk about. Mike, let's get technical right quick and go to the whole thing when people, have you seen people have been talking in the chat about how Jay uses his literary devices versus Nas? Have you been seeing that?
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing that.
Right. So let's speak to that right quick. That usage of literary devices and this whole style being formulated on connecting one word being dependent upon the next for the rhyme to be dope. Well, that gives the, okay, so when you're getting older and you've said everything that there is to be said, and you've never written in a style of speaking the abstract out into bars and being able to segue into another stream of thought and making it connect to the listener, I'm going to give you an example of it. Nas on Take It in Blood. I never brag how real I keep it, because it's the best secret. I rock a vest, prestigious, Cuban link flooded Jesus, intellects watching Kathy Lee and Regis. My actions are one with the season, a text squeezing. Execution though. Winter time I rock a fuck. Mega popular. Center of attraction. Climaxing. My bitches, they be laughing. They high off sniffing coke off of 20 shit, Andrew Jackson. That's not connected, but it's connected.
Yeah.
Because Nas uses abstract thoughts and lines and knows how to connect them and weave them and put them together. Jay doesn't do that. And when you get older,
well, Jay doesn't write either.
Right. When you get older, it's easier to take an abstract thought and formulate it into a dope song. Nas has been doing that his whole career. No Ideas Original, Take It in Blood, Silent Murder. So when people are talking about that use of literary devices and making everything to connect, it's like, no, you got to make everything connect the whole time if that's what you're going to depend it upon. Nas knows how to do both. He knows how to put the whole story together and connect it, like the setup, like rewind. You know what I'm saying? But he also knows how to use it in the abstract and formulate it and make it sound dope. King's Disease 1 and 2 is like mostly Nas's abstract thoughts put together in 4-bar couplets and then segued with little 2-bar sequiturs and then segued out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not woven in and out and formed every word pieced together. You can tell it's like, no, let's take those 4 bars, put those 4 bars. Yeah.
Shout out to the L Web 100 with the super chat. He says, I wish Jay continued the subject matter from Kingdom Come, Also, Show Me What You Got is his most underrated single. I actually like Show Me What You Got when it was released. Coop hates Show Me What You Got.
Wait.
Now the hook's bad. I think, you know what, one of the big things with him on Kingdom Come is the fact that I think he took on too many. No, I was talking about Show Me What You Got and Kingdom Come and kind of really exposed the fact that Jay's hook game really wasn't, on par with some of the rest. So I like Show Me What You Got. I like the production. I think it was a good introduction back into the game, but it kind of, I don't think it aged that well. But I do agree with the super chat that was saying that Kingdom Come was a decent blueprint for adult type of music when it comes to Jay. But I think that some of the execution on there, again, he got one of them Michael Jackson problems, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when Jay tries to hit home runs in those situations where it falls flat. Like that Anything You Want with Usher, or that Hollywood song with Beyonce, which I think is probably his worst song in his catalog. I think Hollywood's the worst Jay song in his catalog.
Okay, but Mike, you understand that part of his legend is rooted in the fact that he made all his early stuff seem so effortless and cool. That was the thing about it. It was almost like, oh, this dude is making it look easy while he's doing it. And so watching him try, like, that's what I mean. That's part of what doesn't work for him. He's doing things that don't work for him. It's like, no. Stop trying to out-rap Ye over Ye's beats. Like, that's not what you do well. Stop trying to fit into these boxes. Go do what you do well. And this is what I mean about what he does well. Much, much harder as you get older. Oh, it's easy to write something like The Evils in 1996 when you're 27, to that level of using literary devices and conjunctive sentences and putting things together and formatting them that way and telling those epic level stories. Oh, that's super, super, super easy to do when you're in your prime, and damn near impossible when you're out of it because of how you use your literary devices, where somebody like Nas, because he knows how to take the abstract and make it short and fragmented, can do something like rewind. Take block, flip it. You feel what I'm saying?
No,
it don't gotta
right.
be fully extended for me to work it and to freak it. I can take it piece by piece and break it down, which is also a usage of literary devices, deconstruction.
Shout out to Kenneth Palmer with the super chat. He said, you guys are keeping it real right now. Never liked 444. Jay-Z's worst effort. No ID's production on Common's The Dreamer, The Believer is far better. Jay's lyrics are weak. Damn. Listen, this is what I will say. I think he sounded the most comfortable to me on Reasonable Doubt in the Blueprint.
Yeah.
And I think I would say Volume 2 to an extent, but he clearly was dumbing things down a little bit. And, all the rest of the albums got moments where it's just like, why is this on here?
See, but what you'll find, actually, Mike, what are the 2 best produced albums of his, though?
I think The Blueprint is probably the best produced.
Right.
I would say the blue. I might think the Black Album might be number 2.
Right. You think the Black Album is produced better than Reasonable Doubt, or you think the beats are better?
You're right. I think the beats are better. I think Reasonable Doubt's produced better. But
Correct.
again,
So-
I think Reasonable Doubt is the MC he wants to be. All the other stuff is him adjusting to the game.
No, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is, even the guy that was adjusting to the game and doing like 1,000,001 question, oh, that guy's great. Like, you know what I mean? It's just hard to be conversational and connected like that when you've been doing it for, I don't know, 30 years, and you're not on the scene like that, and the thing that you're seeing changes. It's like what he used to say about Nas when he signed Nas to Def Jam. He's like, man, I want him on the scene and to see what's going on. And da. Well, Jay's not on the scene. So much of what he does is about what he sees with his eyes, and he formulates. Right.
Especially since he doesn't write. And I think this might be a time when he needs to start writing. I think.
No, I told you he needs to go out and kick it with Nas this time. I've been saying that for years. Like, if you want to hear a Jay album, and I'm not joking when I say this, Jay need to be going kicking with Nas. Nas is outside. He's having brunch on Sundays with LeBron and Hit Boy and the family. That's the shit Jay used to do.
That's the album that Jay needs. He's probably not going to get it, but he needs an album with Nas.
Not getting that from Nas right now. No way.
Fresh Boy Road Entertainment says, only y'all channel be saying goofy shit like that. Like what? That 444 is one of Jay's weaker albums?
Hold on.
Listen,
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think 444 is at least top 3 weakest albums in his catalog, but I think the weakest album in his catalog is Holy Grail. And both of those albums he's made in the past 10 years. And that's just facts.
That is facts. But also, too, this is what I mean with the goofy shit. No, the goofy shit be who all these media entities that be playing that shit up belong to. That's the goofy shit. We don't belong to nobody. That's why we get to say what we want. And why you can see that we don't belong to nobody. And who does by these bullshit ass narratives that they feed your goofy ass. How about that?
Where do y'all think 444 ranks when we talking about Jay-Z albums? Do y'all really think 444 is better than Volume 1? Y'all think it's better than Volume 2? Y'all think it's better than The Dynasty? Do y'all think it's better than, The Blueprint 2 even?
Mike, this is how bad 444 is. I think Nostradamus is better than 444, and you know how I feel about Nostradamus.
Oh, my goodness. Nas the GOAT. Shout out to him for the super chat.
DJ Premier, shoot him up.
He said Jay-Z is watching his biggest competition, Nas, make these great albums, and now his competitive nature is coming back. I agree with that, but my thing is, what can he do about it?
No.
What producer does he need to get with? The only answer he's gonna have is if Kanye works with him, and I don't think that's happening.
He might need to take a chance for a change, Mike. Because here's another thing that people don't understand about him, production-wise, he's always played it safe. Even on Reasonable Doubt, Mike, he picked New York producers who
are proven.
Ski, DJ Premier, Clark Kent. That's proven shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's already proven.
Well, I guess you could say Ski might have been a chance because, you know what I'm saying, Ski was coming from Original Flavor. But, I mean, again, he gave him some Supreme stuff.
Right, about to say, Ski might have given Jay, like beat-wise, some of the best beat stuff on Reasonable Doubt, though. So even when saying that, it's like he got flame out of Ski.
No, he did. He got all-time great shit out of Ski.
Right, we ain't heard some of the shit like that from Ski since, outside of the Camp Low album, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been working with Currency during some of Currency's breakthrough stuff. Right. People are saying that 444 is like 9 or 10 in the catalog. I want to know, I guess maybe this would be better to ask you guys, what albums in Jay's catalog is 444 better than to you? Because the only ones I would sit here and say is Holy Grail and Kingdom Come.
Yep. There we go.
Because I got Volume 3 over 444, and I don't like Volume 3.
It's easy. No, that's easy.
And that's
Big
easy.
Pimp's on there. Come and Get Me's on there. Snoopy Track's on there.
Yeah.
Do It Again is on there. So Ghetto's on there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even a conversation. So Ghetto's better than everything on Volume 3, and that's probably the third best song on Volume 3.
Oh, no, you said better than everything on 444. Right?
444, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Shout out to Ray Rims with the super chat. He says, Should we doubt that Jay and Nas already have many tracks in the tuck? I mean, I would doubt it. I mean, it is what it is. The L Web 100 says, I was shocked y'all both mentioned the Blueprint 3 was good. I can't stand Euro J.
No, that's where he was. I think people forget, and maybe it's because like that was about as graceful transition as we had seen an MC of his caliber do, though, wasn't it, Mike? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree.
And I gave him marks for that because I'm like, well, no, ain't nobody really transition and flip it like that, and we just need to give him some credit for it for growing the shit up. Like he was saying on to the next one. Yeah, I got on flip flops, white Louis boat shoes. Y'all should grow the fuck up. Come here, let me coach you. It's like when he said that, I was like, you want to know what? Strong sentiment. Yeah. Possibly true.
James Thomas with the super chat says, y'all need a call-in number, and Jay needs to hang out with Conway and them boys to get back to his roots. You know, number one, I think we might need to do a call-in show, and we might do that on our Monday shows if we add Monday to the schedule. Now, as far as Jay hanging out with Conway and I guess Pusha T and all that, I think that would be dope if he made an album in that chamber. But again, he's going to have a hit problem. Unless he comes with a song like The Rock Boys, he kind of already did that with American Gangster. And I know American Gangster is eons ago now, but it's like with the relationships that he has and the pop crossover success he is and the age he is that going to play well? He talking this dope boy stuff the whole record. I don't know.
I don't necessarily want to hear that from him at this stage either.
Yeah,
like not straight up and down, but it's good. You know, it's good. You know, dispersed. You know, sparing like Drug Dealers Anonymous. You know what I'm saying? Nice show up and show out. Right. So he can still stretch over into that vein. I just want to hear a dope project from him. I don't care what you're talking about. Like he's capable of talking about anything. We've seen that from the catalog. It's just what is it going to be? What are his best 5 albums, Mike?
What are his best 5 albums? Hold on, let me read the super chat and I'm going to tell you. LP says Jay raps over beats that are hits off of production. He doesn't rap over minimal beats like Nas or intricate ones like Pusha. Home run every time. Well, Pusha had the Neptunes, Kanye in his whole career, so I got to give him that. Jay's top 5 albums. I'm going to say Reasonable Doubt. Go ahead.
He made a strong point because you want to know what? Pusha T picks all of Pharrell and Ye's intricate, interesting stuff, not necessarily the home run shit.
That's real.
Shit. Yeah, that's right.
And Clips was doing that when the Neptunes were making the biggest hits of anybody. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. Their best rap beats, you'll find them on Clips albums.
No, that's real. Jay-Z's top 5 albums, I'm going to say Reasonable Doubt's my number 1. The Blueprint's number 2 to me. Black Album's number 3.
Yep.
This is where it gets a little tricky. But I'm going to have to say Volume 2, number 4, just based on who he is and what we know him for. I mean, it just has too many hits on it. And he's known for the hits and, just being able to navigate through that. And I say American Gangster's number 5 to me.
Okay. I like that.
Let's move on, though.
I'm cool with that. I enjoy. Yeah.
Because I look.
Oh, you want?
Go ahead.
No. I was about to move on because real quick, I've been seeing advertisement for the Liz 2. I think Liz 2 might be dropping soon, maybe Friday.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Like I woke up this morning to the Liz 2 by Armani Caesar.
Okay.
West made a post saying it's smashing everything on Liz 1.
Liz 1 was hard.
I enjoyed Liz 1. It was hard and those beats were awesome and she was dope. She really had a nice little showing.
BOBT says, damn, Mike's struggling to find Jay's top 5 albums. I mean, I've got to be honest, man. I don't think Volume 2 aged that well, but I have to give Volume 2 the credit that it deserves. And it's crazy, like Volume 1 used to be towards the bottom, but time has been kind to Volume 1 where it is climbing.
Mm-hmm. Trying to tell everybody about that Volume 1?
Johnson Daily Sports says Reasonable Doubt, the Black Album. I think that's Blueprint. Volume 2 and what was the other one? Let me see. Volume 2 and Volume 1 at 5. I'm not mad at that.
I was actually going to tell you, I have American Gangster at number 6 because my list is actually his list. I have Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Black Album, Volume 1, Volume 2, in that order. And then I have American Gangster right after that.
Fresh Boy Road Entertainment says, y'all need to invite my girl Mecca on. Mecca from Feeling It? Sure. Love to talk to her. That'd be great.
Tell her holla.
Ski's the truth, too, man. Ski actually, long time ago, actually gave, according to hip hop, their first editorial interview. So shout out to Ski.
Oh, that's what's up. Oh, speaking of which, another quick biz. Hey, Mike, I know you know who Sauce Walker is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to be following his movement more and supporting his movement because it's like,
okay.
One of my young G's was just telling me, it's like, nah, Coop, the major's been offering him millions and millions of dollars, and he been saying no because he getting to his money without needing them. You know what I mean? And so we need to support brothers that's like thinking that way and feeling that way about it. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. The real Leonard Washington says, yeah, I'm taking Volume 1 over Volume 2. No way I would have said that 10 to 20 years ago. That's interesting. I feel the same exact way. Like, that's why I struggled with the top 5. I'm like, shit, man, Volume 1 in 2022 kind of sounds better than Volume 2 now.
You know how much flack I caught in high school when I used to tell people, it's like, yeah, but he sounds better on the album he came out with last year. Like the Volume 1, it's like, yeah, it's like, I know ain't no hits on there. It's like, he's better though. He's better. He's better.
I want to ask you this, man. What do you think about the new Versus lineup with Onyx, Cypress Hill? I want to ask the people too. Are y'all excited about Cypress Hill and Onyx doing the Versus?
I was surprised like you were, and much like I think you're about to talk about, like, where's the producer stuff that started all this? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, listen, I think Cypress Hill has made an incredible impact on the culture and have a huge catalog. And they're one of those hip hop bands. I like kind of put them in the band category where they have a core following like crazy. Onyx, on the other hand, like, they got their core following too, but when I think of doing 20 joints, now correct me if I'm wrong, man, I don't know, man, like, maybe it's just going to be some rah-rah. Like, I would like to see Onyx in, like, MOP or something, you know what I'm saying, where we could go on some, rah-rah like that. But I never would have pictured Cypress Hill and Onyx together. And I haven't, of all these imaginary versus matchups, I haven't heard anybody say anything about these two pairing up. So, saying all that to say, I think Versus needs to kind of go back to the whole producer thing, just to kind of make it exciting again. But this makes me feel like, dare I say it, after 24 months, Versus might be running out of a little steam. Is that disrespectful to say?
I am worried. How about this? I can remember the turnout for the Ray and Ghost one getting a little bit of flack. Mm-hmm. And I think it kind of got glossed over because of how important they are to the culture. They're too big, and Wu-Tang's too big and been too important to this climate for the shade to go but so far.
Right.
With the view. I think that people bought Fat Joe and Ja Rule into question more about Fat Joe's catalog because Ja's hits are there. Mm-hmm. And so those are the two verses that stand out in terms of maybe like missing the mark in terms of viewership, notoriety. And so I say that to say that it's like, well, there's two ways to play this. You either start really bringing your stars out the way they need to be brought out, i.e. Nas versus Jay, get back on your producer stuff, or you get back into groups that have cult followings that people still loyally follow. And so what I'm going to question about this battle isn't the groups, but how loyal the following is held up over time to make this truly viable. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. Shout out to Donnell with the super chat. He says, I Am is better than Volume 2. And I know Coop hates I Am, but happy happy lovey stuff that Coop skips. Yeah, I play and I only skip one or two joints on there. I think that's an interesting discussion.
You only skip one or two joints on IN?
I think the difference between I Am and Volume 2 is similar to, I mean, there's different levels. Stillmatic and the Blueprint. Nas is rapping better than Jay on I Am.
Yeah.
But I think collectively the songs on Volume 2 are better. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Actually, we can line those up. I'm writing them down. I know we need to get to a couple other things on our list, but that's a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to the chart in a second. People are saying that who would we put up against Ye? I think it's Kanye versus Kanye. I think I talked about this maybe a long time ago, but I think the verses that we need is Kanye the artist versus Kanye the producer. But probably not going to get that, whatever. Versus needs to be trying to get the game matched up against somebody.
Well, here's Wayne didn't do a versus, did he?
No, but he's never expressed that he'll do it. The game has expressed that he'll do it.
So you find a way to make it happen. That's what you do when you're taking on full stake and ownership of this. So Wayne's still out there, T.I.'s still out there. Ross said, I got another 20-piece for whoever wanted. Another 20-piece lemon pepper for whoever wanted. The game's still out there. Nas is out there. Jay is out there. They need Outkast is out there. De La is out there. Tribe is out there. The Roots are out there. Yeah. You want me to keep going? Goody Mob is out there.
Let me ask you this, and I just thought about this in my head.
No, they're not trying hard enough. Ice Cube is out there. Scarface is out there.
Well, Ice Cube said he wouldn't do it.
Okay.
He said he wouldn't do it. Now, let me ask you this.
Jeezy?
Do you think it's out of the realm of possibility, or what do you think about this matchup? The Game and Busta Rhymes.
Busta's still out there. I'm with that. They're close. They wouldn't mind doing it probably.
I think the Game is super competitive to a point, and it's an aftermath situation there too. I think the Game is super competitive enough where he would step up to the plate and challenge it. I think we've said this before. I think T.I. should have taken the Busta Rhymes challenge because I think that T.I. for his era would fare well against Busta Rhymes. And I wanted to address something too that we talked about last week when we rated T.I. We're gonna get to the rating system in a second because we got limited time. But I think T.I.'s legacy score is a 7, and it's sad. It shouldn't be.
No, we put it at 8. You think it's a 7?
I think it might be a 7.
So the only person who legacy-wise we have that low, we don't have any 7s for legacy, so we can't. I don't see that, Mike. You're saying his legacy is the weakest everybody who's up here?
Well, we might need to look at some of those again. I'm gonna explain what I'm saying. LP with Super Chat says,
"How about this? Look at the people who we gave like a 7 on. Like, no, we didn't give anybody. No, I don't know if we can do that, Mike. That might be. Hold on. We gave Conway's legacy a 7. That's what I mean. So you're putting T.I.'s legacy where Conway's is?
I'm going to explain myself in 1 second. LP says they need to do as short as shows with 10 songs. Yeah, I agree. Now, if we're going to do a versus with, that matchup, we might need to do 10 instead of 20. Nas the GOAT says, I think that there's a problem. The problem is that the biggest names in hip-hop don't want to lose. It's the ego problem, in my opinion. I could see that. Or they don't want to appear to lose. And that's why even when Kane went out there against KRS, I admire the fact that Kane went out there because KRS's catalog is very long and monstrous.
KRS could have made that a blowout against any lesser performer.
This is true. Okay, this is what I'm going to say about T.I. and his legacy. Because I feel like T.I.'s legacy should be held super high. Everything that we talk about, like the whole run that the South is on, or Atlanta specifically, T.I. was at the helm of that because the Atlanta run and the South's run in hip hop didn't start with Cass and them. Like Cass was Cass, and Cass and Goody Mob were doing what they were doing, right? And they were kind of, just basically they were alienated, ATLians in a sense. But that whole regime of Atlanta taking over the rap game and taking it to where it is now, T.I. was at the helm of that, and he was one of the main catalysts. And
Okay.
with the catalog that he has and the impact that he was having in that moment, it was him and Wayne. It should be no question, even on a versus tip. It should be him and Wayne, right? Because that's what it used to be.
Yeah,
Somehow, Wayne's trajectory has gone somewhere else. And T.I.'s legacy and the way he's thought of has dropped. And I don't understand it. I don't know where it comes from because he
but it
put in the
hasn't dropped.
work.
It hasn't dropped to the depths of a 7 though, Mike. It hasn't. It hasn't dropped that far. It hasn't.
Okay. I think
I don't
that's
think it's
fair.
dropped that far.
I just think the T.I. has been disrespected.
He has been.
LL type of levels. It's like the LL thing. I bet if I put it this way, I bet if we put it at a 7, nobody would say anything.
Right. No. The LL. We're gonna call that the LL theory from now
Well, what do
on.
you think about Luda's legacy? Because people are saying Luda then T.I. Like, what's Luda's legacy then?
Luda was here first, but he was never better as an MC. They were comparable as hit makers. T.I. has a better catalog.
Legacy wise, though, when people talk about the top, whatever,
I
let's
think
just say top.
I think people look at Luda like founding father of modern day like Atlanta rap shit in a way. So his legacy probably is higher than T.I. because every time you bring up T.I. and give him accolades for what he's brought to Atlanta, people be like, well, Luda was there the year before, and so his legacy's pretty high.
You think
So
so?
I mean, you don't think Luda's well regarded and highly regarded?
I think he should be. The talent's there, and he's a Atlanta legend on many different levels.
Right.
But no, I mean, like LP said in the super chat, he said the new Atlanta cats don't show T.I. and Jeezy no love. When's the
They
last
don't.
time a Atlanta artist that was popping collaborated with Luda?
Oh, that's been forever. I was actually Mike, the same young G I was with that was putting me on to some more Salsa stuff. I saw because I saw how Sauce's team was behind him in the videos. You know, I really don't watch videos, Mike. I saw Sauce's videos to his song the other day. I was like, oh, it's like, oh, that's how Jeezy used to have it around Atlanta. And then I thought to myself, when's the last time somebody put Jeezy on a record down here who was popping? Like, because we was going through some of Quavo's stuff, and Quavo done did so much work with everybody.
Yep.
Mike, you know what I'm saying? And he's going through the record like with him and Fabio.
Gucci
You know what
is
I'm
the
saying?
guy. Gucci is the guy when you talk about, up and coming Atlanta artists working with a veteran. Gucci's that guy. Rigger Ross says Atlanta killed hip hop. Prove me wrong. Listen, does Luda have a record with Jeezy? Does Luda have a record with Gucci?
No. Hold on. Atlanta killed. You know we're based out of Atlanta, right?
I don't think Atlanta killed hip hop. Well, we can get to that topic too, but
Right on the east side of Atlanta.
I don't know if we can actually say that there is an individual or individual market that killed hip hop. I mean, hip hop just changed. It changed drastically. Now, if you want to talk about lyrics not being so important, then we can start narrowing that down to certain individuals. And a lot of people give Soulja Boy that credit, but
We can have
Or
a
blame.
further dialogue about it and maybe put some polls up and kind of see some Atlanta rap. You know, that's what we should do. Let's do a legacy poll on Atlanta rappers. Put Gucci, Jeezy, T.I., 2 Chainz, and Luda up. So, 5 of them. Luda.
So you don't think it's odd though that Luda doesn't have a song with Jeezy? Or
No,
Gucci?
I don't. I don't necessarily because it doesn't really exist in that realm at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Not even Jeezy though. I mean, there's a Def Jam connection there. Jeezy's made records with everybody.
No, stylistically, I just never really cared to see the pairing either. Like I could see the whole Luda T.I. thing, like being more viable chemistry wise.
But that's just based off of T.I.'s versatility though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Jeezy's versatility ain't like that, and it's like Luda's not a trap or die rapper.
Luda's more, and I say this respectfully because honestly, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like Luda was one of the people, if not the main reason why I got into radio. Just seeing his path and the way he was able to do it. Me as a young, aspiring hip hop artist, and yeah, when he made it, it made it look real possible for anybody in the city to go out there and reach levels that other artists haven't reached. But saying all that to say, I think Luda's more Jermaine Dupri than Jeezy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, how about this? Like, their legacies are all comparable. If you
Okay,
want to
they're
put
saying that
Luda
Luda
in,
does have a song with Jeezy.
okay.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm just saying all their legacies are kind of comparable to me. If you want to put Luda's legacy ahead because he was here first, that would be about it. You know what I mean?
Luda's a difficult one for us because it's like his legacy in the city of Atlanta is different than the legacy nationwide, I think.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's what makes it very difficult to see because I don't see the influence musically in the city from Luda. T.I.'s influence was apparent. Jeezy's influence was apparent. You see Gucci's influence every day. Like,
No, I think we really should put a poll up and kind of see, like, ask the people, like, the legacy. Gucci, T.I., Luda. Yeah.
we needed that Luda and T.I. versus instead of the Luda and Nelly. And I think that I'm just going to keep it all the way 100, man. If we're at the point where Versus is doing Cypress Hill and Onyx, I think we're towards the end of this whole Versus road.
No, you are right about that because when Luda and Nelly did it, I was like, that should be Nelly and Ja Rule and then Luda and T.I.
That's what that should have been.
That's what that should have been.
But again, I think somebody like The Game really wants to do it. And I would like to see, even though I think that The Game and Busta Rhymes is a mismatch on many different levels, it's not a lot of things out there left.
No, Mike, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're saying that, it's like, no, there's plenty of stuff out there. There's stuff out there.
It's just like what Nas the GOAT said, not everybody wants to do it. Okay, well,
Right.
we'll be
That's what
looking
it's coming
forward
down
to it.
Right.
You ready to get to this chart?
R&B verses. Yeah, we're gonna end up with a bunch of R&B verses. See, like
Yeah,
these rappers,
right.
no. Like, for real, these dudes get on record and talk about how great they are. They talk about how competitive they are, but then it's time to compete. Right.
This is true. This is true.
That's all I gotta say.
No, this is true. I just saw.
What Ice Cube say when you find out your favorite rapper ain't got no nuts?
I was just watching an Unsung on Pete Rock, and I really enjoyed it because, I'm a huge Pete Rock fan. And with all the producers out there that haven't done it yet, why do we not have a Pete Rock in the discussion, man? Like, we need a Pete Rock versus. And honestly, man, was it Pete Rock and Premier that used to do their Pete Rock versus Premier thing all the time at like shows? And I know Premier did the whole one with RZA or whatever in the early stages of versus, but I really would like to see a Premier and Pete Rock. I think that'd be dope. It'd be fun.
I mean, there's still other people to put them with too.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? The Alchemist is out there.
Yeah, Large Pro.
Yeah.
Q-Tip didn't do no verses, did he?
Who?
Did Q-Tip do a verses?
No.
Right. There's
Q-Tip
like I
would
said,
be a whole problem in the verses.
There's stuff out there.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's get to this chart, man. Today, man, we got some heavy hitters today. And I don't know if everybody could see these, but today we're going to cover Biggie, Ghostface, Raekwon, MF Doom, Foxy Brown, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, and Drake. I don't know if we're going to get to all these, but let's try.
I was actually thinking, Mike, I don't know what your day looks like, but if you wanted to, like, because I know we have some time constraints, if you want to flex on 5 of these now, and we can try to flex on 5 later this evening if you want to, or how do you feel?
Let's try to get through it.
Okay.
Fuck it. Let's do it. All right.
Okay, let's go.
So Biggie, we gave Biggie's lyrics a 14. Gave Biggie's voice a 10. Gave Biggie's delivery a 10. Storytelling a 10. Catalog of albums a 12. I think everybody knows why that is. Collaborations a 10. Longevity of records, 10. Longevity of career, 5. Songwriting skills, 10. Legacy, 10. Live performance, 8. Content, a 7. I want to address that. Why did you think Big E's content 7?
I mean, his content and subject matter wasn't heavy, Mike. He didn't talk about much. He didn't like address any social unrest. He didn't address any real issues in the black community. He wasn't that type of rapper.
He wasn't
really
deep. He talked about what was around him, and he's even addressed that when he was alive, and he was talking about, if I worked in Mickey D's, I'd talk about burgers and fries. Well, look, I think he did a good job of actually contextualizing what he did, what he knew. He didn't step out of the box and try to address things that he didn't know.
Right, but it's like, well, when all you see is your world, the world's a big place. That's a contrived point of view, so that affects your content, especially when you got guys like Rakim and Nas and KRS-One with these full world views from the same areas. They from Brooklyn, Queens, and all those connected and close by. These guys have worldly views and see beyond their hood and their borough.
You're right.
Right. You're right. So
I think that's fair. 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's stop making it seem like he was like making these content like he's not Tupac when it comes to content. Let's just call it what it is.
All right. So intangibles 10, hook game 10.
Yep.
Versatility 10, and the overall score was 146 for the Notorious B.I.G.
Now think about what this would probably be had he lived longer, because the only reason lyrics are 14 is because we didn't get the lyrics for long enough to make it a 15. Yeah. And catalog of albums probably would have been a 15. So that's 4 extra points right there. So we'd be at 150 off of that. And I imagine, Mike, based on what I was hearing on Life After Death, probably would have upped that content and subject matter at some point too. And the longevity of career definitely would have gotten extended as well. So he probably would have scored probably right there with Nas and Pac. Maybe in between. It might have been 155, 154, 153.
I've always said it. I think he's the most complete MC just based on the body of work that we got and the small time frame we got. He had all the tools. Now, the content, like you said, I think that would have grown with time because you can actually hear the growth from Ready to Die to Life After Death. Songs like Sky's the Limit or the song that was after Notorious Thugs. It slips me at the moment. You know what I'm talking about. Was it Missing You? Yeah,
Missing You.
You could tell that, he was growing. And
right. So that's what I mean about, no, that probably would have been up, because here's what I'm saying. He started doing that, but understand on Ready to Die, it's kind of like flashes of it, where he says, my mama got cancer in her breast. Don't ask me why I'm motherfucking stressed. Things done changed. It's that content, it's but he gives that to you in very small spurts and doses. It starts becoming a few songs on Life After Death, so it probably was going to go up, yeah.
Definitely. All right. Let me see. All right, we got Ghostface next. Damn. Ghostface, 14 lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostface with voice, you got 8. Mm-hmm. Delivery 9, storytelling 10, catalog of albums 15, collaborations 8, longevity of records 8, longevity of career 10, songwriting skills 10, legacy. Yes, legacy 9. Excuse me. Live performance 9, content 9. Intangibles, we went 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hook game 7, versatility 8, and Ghost ends up with a score of 143. I mean, I think I'm a Ghost guy.
I know you're a Ghost guy.
Not too much that I disagree with there. I think the one thing that Ghost lacks in his career, and he's, for people who just tune in, he's probably my favorite MC, bar for bar.
He's your guy. No, he's your guy. I'm telling you, I've watched how you talk about him. He's your guy.
I think the only thing that he lacks is like consistent, super big hits. He has a cult following for a reason. He's kind of like the crossover version of what MF Doom is,
Yes.
and vice versa, whatever. Because obviously Ghost was doing what he was doing before MF Doom was MF Doom. But yeah, I think the only thing that he lacks in comparison to his contemporaries is the hit records. But what he makes up for that on is consistency and, catalogs of albums that are just consistently good and great.
I think though. I think. How about this? The fact that All That I Got Is You is still probably his most recognizable single is kind of the same thing that's keeping him from being more widely talked about as the all-time greatest MC.
I think Shay Shay Lagos might be.
Huh?
I think Shay Shay Lagos might be.
You're right. Shay Shay Lagos is. Okay, so let's speak to that right quick. This is what I mean. So, and this is picking hairs, but where I have Ghost as seventh greatest MC of all time. I think on my list. All those 6 guys that are ahead of him have more notable songs attached to their catalog, even for the guys who don't have better catalogs. So the guys I have ahead of him, and the records. Well, Nas, Rakim, Pop, Big, Jay, Scarface.
And even some people who are slightly behind him probably have more notable records. Common has more notable records than Ghost. And that's just true. I mean.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to Mad Max with the super chat. He says, Coop Buggin, Luda is a better MC than T.I. and has way better legacy than T.I. T.I. only got real clout in Atlanta and the South. Past that, he's the same legacy as the Game. See, that's the thing that's difficult, man. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I think people outside of Atlanta see Luda different than people in Atlanta, and I think people in Atlanta see T.I. different than people outside of Atlanta do.
Right. So hold on. So what you're really speaking to is that people outside of our little Atlanta bubble have Luda higher than T.I., and we got T.I. way higher than Luda.
Exactly. It's confusing.
I didn't know that was going on.
No, that's what's going on.
That is very problematic. We're going to need help rating T.I. and Luda and Jeezy and those guys if that's that case.
I feel about that's pretty much what it is, because I'm gonna be honest, for the people who are listening to this worldwide, Atlanta doesn't.
We don't listen to y'all shit.
Atlanta doesn't hold Luda that high. I hate to say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Even when Luda was at the height of his powers nationwide, Atlanta was already on to the next. Okay, T.I.'s bubbling, Lil Jon's doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like. It was like that, and I think if you're not here, you can't really see that. And people didn't really get a taste of T.I. until really his third album. But by that time, he was bubbling here for 3 albums and mixtapes.
He was a legend down here by the time his third album came out.
Yeah, by the time people outside of Atlanta started checking for T.I., he was a legend down here.
By the time King came out, he was a legend in Atlanta. I think you're speaking to something strong with Luda or whoever made the super chat was because here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. And you know this, Mike. We know this from being on the scene. Atlanta music scene, the bubble, the underbelly of the music scene, the bubbles to the top. The turnover rate happened so fast. I think what happened was because Luda was the big mainstream star. That while he's bubbling on the mainstream and everybody else around the nation is watching him, we're not even checking for him locally anymore. We've been heard that.
Yeah, we on to the next thing.
We've been listening to Chris. So that's kind of what it was, too. It's like, man, you know how long we've been listening to this? Oh, y'all go ahead and have that. Have them. Tip coming out, Jeezy coming out. Yeah.
And in turn, when Tip went mainstream and y'all start paying attention to Tip, then Jeezy started bubbling down here. And people aren't checking for the new Tip stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you, it literally happened like this. It's like it seemed like in about 4 or 5 consecutive years, it went Luda, Tip, Jeezy, Gucci, and by the time that it got done, it's like Jeezy was coming back around again and Tip was coming back around, but 2 Chainz was bubbling by then.
Yeah. No, for real.
This shit happened in like 5-6 year stretch, Mike. Like in a row, it was like Luda, Tip, Jeezy, Gucci, Chainz.
But see, Luda was the first, and the difference between Luda and the rest of the guys is the fact that The rest of the guys spent some time bubbling, and they had multiple projects bubbling. Luda blew up so fast, he didn't have the local time that the rest of the guys had. It was like, he was fortunate enough to have a nationwide smash hit single on an independent album. Not many people are able to knock it out the park with the first swing, and he did with What's Your Fantasy?
Well, see, he paid his dues differently, too. This man is really working at a radio station. Getting his career together. So when you're like, he's not in the streets, it's like, well, he's not in the streets because he's a DJ. It's not like, you know what I'm saying?
Now, he hit it on a higher level. And not to mention his time
inside. He pulled the inside job.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I need to take the streets. I have a radio job right here. I think I'm going to work this angle.
And I'm going to make my relationships here. And I'm going to know what people already want to hear because I work at the radio station. So he has some insight that most artists just don't have.
He knew the format, played the format well. Like you said, we don't talk enough about how well he executed game plan. Because, like, how about this? Here's what I'll tell you. Oh, I know he had $20 million when all of them was still working to get to where he was. We all know that down here, too. Like, he got there. He was there first. He got there quicker, too.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the chart because I think these are interesting conversations that we can expound upon on some of our other shows where we're not, covering like a current topic.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of good subtopics going on.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, we got Raekwon next, right? You gave Raekwon a 14 in lyrics.
Almost gave him a 15. But
gave
then I looked at
Raekwon
Lauryn Hill and was like, Lauren got a 14. Big got a 14, Ray's 14.
I mean, yeah, we got to be real. Like, I think that Ray is an incredible lyricist. I honestly don't think he's a better lyricist than Ghost, but again, I'm a Ghost guy. So, and if we got Method Man at a 14 lyrics, and we got Ghost at a 14 lyrics, I think it's only fair that we got Ray at a 14 on lyrics because I think
So lyrically, because of his vocabulary usage and wordplay and the words that he chooses to compound together, it's very dazzling. It is. But it's like, then I thought about it, it's like, well, Lauryn Hill does that too. Okay.
But again, it gets back to what we hold high when it comes to lyrics. I mean,
right, and lyrics. There's different ways of going about it. It's like Lauryn will say, my mind makes incisions in your anatomy, and I back this with Deuteronomy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ray will say, peace to cats who rock cats, rocknologists, street astrologists, light up the mic, godnologists, fly joints like character points, Corolla, Motorola, hold 'em, play 'em, God, he pack over the shoulder, chrome tanks, player like gangs, check the franchise, front on my guys, my enterprise, crash many lies, we peel off snakes like reflectors, he had sugar in his ear in his last crack career, we can him, manhandle him, if you want to, burn his crypto, kid ditto, skate like a limo.
Yo.
That's 15 stuff.
It is 15
stuff.
But
That's
so
cool
is Tycho, Night Glow, Velvet Pose, special effects, high-tech armor, smirk you at the show.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, lyrical dexterity, wordplay capability. How about this? To me, I know that, how about this? Lyrically in the crew, for me, it always went Jizza, Deck, Ray, Meth, Ghost. Lyrically. For me. And sometimes I would put Ray ahead of Deck lyrically about the output.
I was going to say, man, I don't put Deck above them. I don't.
Right. I was going to say, it's too many impactful performances.
I don't, yeah. I mean, I think we're looking at isolated performances from Deck, respectfully. But, yeah, it just got too many standout performances.
Right.
Like when they was talking about the Pete Rock, when I was watching Pete Rock's Unsung, they kind of mentioned the song, The Game, and Raekwon's name came up. They actually played True Master, and they were playing Corrupt's verse. Corrupt was going crazy on that song, and Deck's on there too. They didn't play Deck's verse, but they played Corrupt's.
True Master. You talking about True Master?
Yeah.
Mike, I swear that played on my playlist yesterday for the first time in forever. I was like, they went bananas.
True Master is insane.
True Master is a classic, Mike. That is a classic rap song. That's a borderline classic rap album when you go back. That's an album that aged extremely well.
Yeah, man.
Truly Yours. The Truly Yours 96 on there, right?
Yes. But I was bringing that album to bring up The Game, right? Raekwon, Ghost, and Prodigy. I don't give a fuck, man. Ghost got the best verse on that whole album, to me. So
It
you know
might
what?
be.
I'm cool with giving Ray and Ghost a 15. To be honest, if we being real,
So, see,
because
but
the
then that.
slang alone, they rap in a whole different chamber. Can we not say that it was written? It's very Ray and Ghost inspired lyrically.
Yes, yes, and it might be the most lyrical album by a solo artist ever. So yeah, but okay, but this is what I'm saying about how people say we need to be tighter. If Ray and Ghost are 15s, doesn't that make Big, Jada, and Lauryn Hill 15s as well?
I don't think it makes Jada and Lauren 15s.
Makes Big a
Nor
15.
Big.
Makes Big a
Because
15.
you're talking about doing this over an extended period of time.
Right. So we knock Big for not doing it over an extended period of time, unfortunately, right?
Unfortunately.
How about
Rap
this?
Roundtable says, cool, better put some respect on Ghost. I feel you. I think Ghost is the best lyricist in Wu-Tang. But again, I'm a super fan, so he
He's not
is. He wasn't initially. In the verse that you just spit from Daytona 500 on Iron Man, Ray was a better rapper than Ghost during that time period. But
Okay, so listen to
not
what I'm
now.
saying to you. Listen to what I'm about
Not
to say
after
to you.
that, I mean.
Most of their classic output between the two of them, Ray's the better rapper. Enter the Wu-Tang. Who's the better rapper?
Ray's the
Only
better
Bill
rapper on
Clinton.
Into the Wu-Tang.
Iron Man.
Ray's the better rapper
Even
than.
Swords. Even Swords is probably Ghost coming out. Probably that's when Ghost was really probably finally like, oh, like Ghost.
Now
caught
Liquid
up to
Swords,
Ray.
man, I don't know, because Fourth Chamber, I think Ghost is the better rapper at that point.
No, because then Iron Man came out right after and he wasn't.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that could have went either way at that point. I think when
Yeah,
Ghost actually.
I was thinking about them on investigative reports. Like, I
Okay.
thought that they were like right there with each other. I was like, oh no, Ghost verse at the end killed that. Like the same way Ray came in proper. You know what I'm saying?
I think can we agree that from Wu-Tang Forever on, Ghost was the better MC.
Yeah, more often than not. But Ray.
I don't think we've ever seen, in my personal opinion, I don't think we've ever seen an MC improve to that degree. Because when Wu-Tang came out the gate, it was about Meth, Chef, and Old Dirty. Jizza was the lyricist. And so Ghost was kind of like the dark horse that just came out of nowhere.
Yes, he was the cleanup hitter. He had the bat fifth.
And by the end of the decade, he was carrying the Wu-Tang on his back.
No, I get what you're saying, but okay. So here's what I would submit to you with that. Even like Ghost's lyrical output too, he hasn't shared the bars the way Ray has either. You know, like Ray is everywhere, and we've talked about that. Ray's on Schoolboy Q's album on Blind Threats. He's on LAX on Bulletproof Diaries with The Game. He's on his album Trading Bars with Nas on Rich and Black.
And I got to give Ray this credit. I got to give him the Jadakiss credit. He sounds just as good now than he sounded back in the day.
Hold on, Ray is on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
He is.
You feel me? Yeah.
Ray's voice is a 10, though. Let's go to Ray's voice. 10.
Okay. 10.
Delivery, 9. That could even be a 10, to be honest. Storytelling, 8.
Yeah.
Catalog of albums, 14. And collaborations, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Longevity of records. You got 9 for that, right?
I do, because most of the Wu-Tang records, if you go back and listen to them that people still play, it's usually him and Meth that you hear the most.
You're right. Longevity of career, 10.
Yep.
Songwriting skills, 8. Legacy.
Hold on, can I tell you what? This is the separation between Ghost and Ray for me, actually. They're about spot on everywhere for me, or at least one notch away from each other on either side, except right here. This is the separation for them, for me, and why Ghost is in my top 10, and Ray is like slightly out or right there at 10.
Legacy, 9. Live performance, 8. Content, 8. Intangibles, you went 10, right?
Yeah, I told you, Ray is the sound of a New York hip hop artist more than Jay, more than Nas, more than Big.
Hook game, 8. What up, yo? What up, yo? Time is running out. It's for real, though. Let's connect. Politic, ditto. All right. Versatility, 7. So Ray ended up with a 142, just one less than Ghost.
I told you that
I want to hear.
eerily
I want to hear
comparable.
about the versatility though. Why you gave Ray a 7 in versatility?
Because I mean, how about this? Ghost has Shay Shay like Ghost, and all that I got is you. What does Ray have? Like where's Ray like really touching you with something different? Like part of him being that New York guy is that he always gives you that. What else does he give you? Like he gives you stuff sometimes like the Marvin record with CeeLo that was on the Wild. Like he has moments like that, or he has like Ason Jones on like the Purple tape too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's usually just spurt. He usually just give you a moment of that versatility or that vulnerability. It's just a moment because he's Ray. He's the chef. You know what I'm saying? And so he holds his steez very well, but that's gonna hurt you versatility wise.
LP says, "How is this catalog of 14? So many bad albums."
No. First of all, so many albums that people don't talk about though that are good. The Shaolin versus Wu-Tang album is good. Mike, the Wild album is good. Mike, he did make Only Built for Cuban Links 1 and 2, right?
He did.
Okay, Mike, he is at the forefront of Enter the Wu-Tang and Wu-Tang Forever, right?
He is.
Is he
I
on
feel like
Return
he
to the
got more
36 Chambers? Hold on. Is he on Return to the 36 Chambers?
He is.
Is he on Tikal?
Yeah.
Is he on Liquid Swords?
He's everywhere. I feel like he got more verses than anybody on Wu-Tang Forever. Is that fair to say?
He has the most verses on Wu-Tang Forever.
He's on like every song.
Yeah. Is he on Iron Man, Mike? You see what I'm saying? Is
he
on my
shares
Beautiful Dark
Iron
Twisted
Man.
Fantasy? You know how many? You feel what I'm saying? I just told you he was on game shit.
He's not just on Iron
Great rap
Man.
albums the last 25 years. You'll find Raekwon on a lot of them.
He's not just on Iron Man. He shares Iron Man.
Shares Iron Man. Yeah.
Are we going to give him flack for Immobilarity? I see that in the chat.
Immobilarity is some mid, but hey, how about this, Mike? Still got gems on there. Live from New York. Sneakers produced by Pete Rock is on there. Yayo is on there. That's one of his better stories. Yeah. He's got some stuff on Immobilarity. It's not a good project.
You got Ray very high all time though, right?
I keep telling people how can y'all have Ghost this high and not have Ray this high? Because most of what y'all have Ghost high for is what y'all should have Ray high for. Ghost is the better storyteller and the better songwriter.
What's the 411 says voice. Ray is on John Blaze. That he is.
Everywhere. I told you he done put out more work. He done put out more work. So when you're talking about those projects not as good, look at the verses that he's given everybody else that Ghost hasn't given. Ghost holds his shit for his projects.
No, that's real. Okay. Who's the next person we're going to? We're going to MF Doom. This one was difficult. Sure. All right, MF Doom. We're probably going to get butchered for this, I'm sure. Lyrics 13. Voice 8.
Yep.
Delivery 9. Storytelling 9. Catalog of albums 13. Collaborations 8. Longevity of records, that was a 7, right?
Yeah.
Longevity of career, 7. Okay, songwriting skills 9, legacy 8, live performance 8, content 8, intangibles, was that 8?
No, we gave us 10 for intangibles.
10, I'm sorry. I went the other line. 10, hook game 8, versatility 7, overall score 132. You know what? The only one that I think I might would bump up was that longevity of career, because he was at KMD and he was able to change his whole shit up.
When did he first step on the scene?
About 92. But MF Doom in the form that we know him as is like 99.
We'll give him a 9.
Okay. MF Doom all caps. Yes, people in the chat saying all caps. They saying longevity of career 10.
Hold on. Well, is it 20 years? Because I told you for me it means 2 decades of service.
Yeah. I think we got to change that longevity to 10. LP says Immobilarity, Lex Diamond's story, Fly International. Why are we giving him credit for being on mad albums? It's his
No.
catalog.
Hold on. Feli's not a bad album, though. And hold on. And if you want to talk about his bad albums, let's talk in relationship to what he's contributed to so many great albums. It's not even a fair weight. Because he's not just like part of the albums like the dude just shows up. Ray is usually on one of the better songs. It's usually a moment when Ray shows up.
What is the thing? This is the thing with the Wu-Tang guys when we're rating them. They have the benefit, the rare benefit, of having
You
an
got the
incredible
stuff.
individual catalog and being a part of some incredible Wu-Tang albums. Because if we want to be like that, we can't rate Andre 3000 for anything. Because the only
Yep.
thing he has is Outkast albums. So we have to count Wu-Tang albums when it comes to those artists. So
We just counted Lauryn Hill too, didn't we? We counted Mos Def too, didn't we?
yeah, we did. Yeah, we counted the score. But see, you know what? Honestly, the score didn't really benefit Lauren. Well, I guess it did benefit Lauren a lot because that was pretty much all she had rap-wise. So, yeah.
It's mostly everything.
Okay,
It is.
so we'll change that one. But Foxy Brown's next. And we got lyrics 13, voice 10, delivery 10, storytelling 7, catalog of albums 9, collaborations 10, longevity of records 9, longevity of career 5, songwriting skills 7, legacy 7, live performance 6, content 7. Whew, it's tough. Intangibles.
Some have lower scores when we go back, so don't,
Intangibles 8, hook game 9, versatility 10, and overall score 127 for Foxy Brown.
Any
Why was the
quibbles?
performance so low, in your opinion?
I mean, I've never heard about her giving great performances, but have heard about her ruining quite a few.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll
We'll leave it right there. Yeah.
We'll leave it right there. Okay, Rick Ross. Lyrics 13, voice 10, delivery 10, storytelling 7, catalog of albums 14, collaborations 10, longevity of records. Is that 10? I feel like I'm missing a row on this over here. Longevity of career 10, songwriting skills 9, legacy 9. Live performance 9. He got that infamous Hot 97 performance at Summer Jam with BMF. Yep. Content 7. Okay. And after that, we got intangibles 9. Hook game 10. Versatility 9. Rick Ross ended up with a 146. What would you say to anybody that says, Rick Ross scored higher than Rakim?
Did he score higher than Rakim?
I think he may have. 146 sounds like it's a little bit more than what Rakim got. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and check the scores. But he's in there with the elites.
What I keep telling you is that when you start measuring him up in everything that he does, what you'll find is that where he suffers in relationships to the greats is lyrically and content-wise, but everything else is there. And also, too, we're altering some of these categories and making them 1 through 5, which I think is going to benefit Rakim more and probably hurt somebody like Rick Ross a little bit, whose hook game is on 10. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mike Cage Jr. in here says, I wish you guys wouldn't speed through it, talk about it like you did the others. We're kind of on a time crunch today, but what we're going to do, we're going to break this episode up so y'all can talk about it in the comment section and we can revisit this and really talk about it further on Friday. Now, someone made an observation that Rick Ross has the same lyrical score as Doom.
So,
you think that Rick Ross and Doom are on the same lyrical level?
Okay, so when people talk about lyrical level, once again, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Because I have Foxy Brown right there at a 13 too, and that didn't seem to be a problem for anybody. Or did somebody say something? Scarface, T.I., Tupac. I have a problem putting Tupac at 13.
I think lyrics is probably the most controversial category.
Right, but
this is
what I keep trying to tell people too. Like, I don't know what other people are hearing from Doom, and I really always enjoyed Doom, but I never thought he was Ray or Ghost or Big or Lauren or Kiss or Cube or Prodigy or Common or Cool G Rap or Busta Rhymes or Redman.
Mine, I'm sorry.
Definitely not Rakim, KRS-One or Nas. Definitely not Rakim, KRS-One or Nas. Definitely not.
Our man with the super chat, he says, Doom's catalog is 15. Operation Doomsday, Danger Mouse, Mad Villainy, Food, King Garandon, what else? Born Like This, Black Bastard, all classic albums.
Those are not all classic albums. You name one classic and one borderline. Next. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I love his following, but that's some unrealistic shit. This is coming from a Nas fan who doesn't enjoy I Am or Nostradamus that much because I'm realistic.
Jordan House says, Coop, what have you heard from Doom? I knew this was gonna happen.
Right.
I think we need to spend Friday on Doom for real.
We are gonna have to spend Friday on Doom because there are just some things people gonna have to understand. Like where y'all have him is not where he is in relation. How about this, Mike? Where y'all have him is not where he really is in relationship to Spectrum and the MCs that you think he belongs next to.
My man Mark Wright out of the Bronx. Shout out to Mark, man. He said MF Doom is leaps and bounds above Ross. Don't do that. The Internet Artist Repertoire says nothing to talk about. Doom is a 15. Rakim will tell you Doom is a 15.
Oh yeah, where's the 15 songs at then? That's what I'm talking about. Like y'all asking me if I know his shit. Show me the shit that y'all are talking about where this guy has just spazzed out the way that y'all are talking about that he deserves his 15. Like, because I don't hear that. Like, I don't.
Look. Everybody
I just listened to Accordion yesterday. Like, I don't hear that.
Everybody can save their smoke for the comment section because we're gonna break this. We're gonna break this section up where y'all can definitely talk about it, and we're gonna address most of the comments or most of the sentiments on Friday. I wish we had more time to go into it today, but we want to finish up with this chart.
What's MF Doom's seminal record? Name me his 5 seminal records.
Mr. Buck says, "Who is MF Doom?" See, that's the problem.
Did somebody do that?
Yeah. I mean, but that's the problem, though. And I hate to do that because a lot of this stuff in his era is mainstream success versus somebody who really broke a lot of ground for underground MCs.
He's an underground king, and that's great. But in relationship to, like, this is what I'm saying. Y'all think Doom is as good as Raekwon and Ghostface lyrically? Like, you believe that? Where are the records?
I personally don't believe that, but
name
people do.
Name the songs that prove that. You see, like, you have to have songs that prove the lyricism is intact. That's why I asked, like, where's the Microphone Fiend record? Like, start showing me the records. Because, like, I just spit a verse from Daytona 500, and it's nothing because Ray's got it like that, because that shit is exciting, and he's epic and lyrically great. There's a section of people that feel that way about Doom. In relationship to contemporaries on that level, show me. That's all I'm asking. Show it to me.
I see that Doom's like caviar. He grows on you. Doom is definitely an acquired taste, and he's very abstract. Me as a Ghostface fan, I appreciate it. It's hard to say. He's really hard to judge. It's hard to judge.
That's what I was saying too, because it's like this. If you think that he's kind of like Ghostface, you understand it's a step down from Ghostface. He ain't made nothing like Iron Man or Supreme Clientele. Nothing. Like, his best shit isn't even touching that. Stop that.
Supreme Clientele is wild, man. Mad Villainy is incredible, but Supreme Clientele is wild.
Mike, he don't have nothing better than Iron Man. Like, Mad Villainy is not even close to Iron Man. Stop that.
The real Leonard Washington says, Doom is an acquired taste for sure, just not my cup of tea.
No, he's dope. I'm rating him like the dope MC that he is because he's not like this epic all-time great guy that y'all keep making him out to be. He's more like a 20 to 40-ish MC, and that's how he got rated. He's not Ray. He's not Ghost.
You don't think he's top 20? No?
I said 20 to 40-ish, as in he would be in the back end of the 20 to 40-ish, yeah.
Mark Wright says accordion, all caps, dead
I said accordion. Like I said, after
Doomsday,
accordion,
Strange Ways. All right, let me get to the next one.
No, Strange Ways. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Dope.
Nicki Minaj. Lyrics 12, voice 8,
Yeah.
delivery 9, storytelling 5. You said she doesn't tell any stories.
No telling story.
Catalog of albums 8, collaborations 10, longevity of records. You went 9 on that, right?
They play her stuff in a lot of different venues. She's been part of a lot of records that still get played, Mike.
That's
Like in
real.
different venues, different. Yeah.
Longevity of career, we said 8. Songwriting skills 8. Legacy 9. Live performance 9. Content 5. Intangibles 8. Hook game 9. Versatility 10. She ended up with a 127. All right. I think the thing about Nicki's legacy, I want to say this in the most respectful way. It reminds me of how they were doing Kobe Bryant at the end of his playing career. You know what I'm saying? When ESPN was ranking him 93rd best player in the league and stuff like that, where they was kind of like, low key pushing Kobe out the league and talking about he was still, taking money from LA and not allowing them to actually rebuild.
So that was one of those things where metrics came in and outweighed intangible factors that Kobe brought to the table, truth somewhere in the middle.
Right. I think that the game as overall hasn't appreciated Nicki in the way that they should, but I think that's due to the fact that she spent more time trying to make pop crossover records than making music for her core hip hop fan base. And I think that's what allowed her legacy to be overlooked in that way. So I think if you want to say her legacy's a 9, I'm not going to refute that. But it could have easily been a 10 based on all the ground that she broke for hip hop in her era. She was one of the biggest hit makers in her era, but doesn't get treated like it. Is that fair to say?
I didn't have that sentiment until you really expressed it to me. And that was one of those things where I think I've always just looked at how she's held up media-wise so long, and I really didn't scratch beneath the surface enough to look at how she probably hasn't gotten. Like, how about this? You brought up Kobe. I'm actually going to bring up somebody that we covered earlier, which is why I kind of paired them together. She's kind of getting foxied a little bit.
Yeah, she is. She's
getting foxed around a little bit.
She is.
And she hasn't been the problem that Foxy was to people. You know what I mean? Like some of Foxy's issues are self-inflicted wounds because of behavior and relational. Like Nicki doesn't have that. And so when you said that, I was like, it's like, why is that going on necessarily? Now,
Chelsea says, I'm sorry. She
said,
I'm sorry, but this Nicki rating is horrible. 12? Do you think Nicki's less than that or more, lyrically?
I mean, because also too, let's address something. She could actually be getting higher scores had she actually, and you kind of spoke to it, Mike, had she spent some time with us, like not trying to make these pop crossover hits and actually being an MC. Because when she actually MC, she was actually really dope. And there was a reason that she was the prominent female MC from her era. When she was spitting it, she was actually nice. It's just almost like as soon as she got renowned for it, and after Pink Friday dropped, it's like ever since then, it's like, has she really been making rap records? And how often does she make records? I know she'll jump on somebody else's rap record and help make it a hit. But as far as her rap career and her rap records,
a lot of her bad rap lines are for her trying to make raps that cater to an audience outside of the hip hop audience. To be honest,
yeah.
LP says Nicki got better flow than Kim and Foxy. But see, the thing is, when you look at Kim and Foxy's hip hop record resume, they made more hip hop records, and I think
like you said that, like you say that, but it's like no, because she hasn't proven that in this hip hop sphere she can flow on record and make hits like them. So no.
Chelsea says if Nicki's what'd she say? Hold on one second, because I want to address this. She said if Nicki legacy is a 10, then you must not be hearing what people are saying about her when Nicki's name comes up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it can't be a 10.
What Mike was saying.
And I think it might actually be lower than that. You know?
Yeah, no, I had her legacy as a 10, and Mike was like, no, we got to change that. You ain't been hearing what people been saying.
Yeah, I mean, because they forced her to pass the baton to Cardi B. And pretty much, since Cardi's showed up, they've kind of phased Nicki out of the mainstream. She continues to come out with records, whether they're good or bad, they act like they're not coming out. They meaning the mainstream media that has always crowned Nicki this and that, which is interesting to me. It's like I said, they're treating her like like ESPN was treating Kobe Bryant towards the end of his career. We'll get into that a little bit more, but yeah, I think that's fair. Big Daddy Kane, lyrics 15, voice 9, delivery 10, storytelling 6. Yeah. Catalog of albums 10 out of 15. Collaborations 9. He was one of the few that collaborated.
He did.
Longevity of records, was that a 7?
It was, because it's like I was saying, Mike, and I hate to say it like this, and this is what I mean. People ask us to be tougher. It's like, oh, we're gonna be tough. So like the people on the back end of this has been catching more smoke, and we got to go clean up the front half.
Yeah.
But outside of the symphony, Smooth Operator, and Ain't No Half Stepping, what Kane records do you hear with Kane on them? Those would be 3.
Longevity of career, we got 10.
Yeah.
Songwriting skills, we got 9. Legacy 10. Live performance 10. Content 8. Intangibles, we got 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hook game 7. Versatility 10. Kane ended up with a 140.
And he's somebody that's probably going to rate even a little higher when we adjust our scale some more and make some of these ratings lower, like for hook game. So, because other guys are going to go down. Like a lot of these people who have 10s for hook games, they're going to lose points, where guys who aren't going to get, who didn't really have to practice it as much, aren't going to get docked for it as much, and thereby going to help balance out the scales a little.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because a lot of people in that era, or nobody in that era, was really responsible for putting their hook game out there.
Right. So I think so we made 2 categories 15s, and so I think we need to make 3 categories of 5. And
Yeah.
I think it's
Hook
I
game
think
has definitely got to be a scale from 1 to 5.
Yeah, I was thinking versatility too, because it's really not fair to some of those artists from that era too about the versatility, because I see some of them suffer from that area. Like Kane didn't, but other guys have and are going to.
Yeah.
And collaborations.
Okay. All right, let's get to Slick Rick, who scored very high. Happy about
As he
that.
should. As he should.
Slick Rick's lyrics, we got 14. Voice 10. Delivery 10. Storytelling 10. Catalog of albums 12. Collaborations 10. Longevity of records 10. Longevity of career 10. Songwriting skills, 10. Legacy 10. Live performance 9. Content 9. Intangibles 10. Hook game 7. Versatility 8. Ended up with 149. We're gonna get to Drake in a second, and I think that middle row for me is kind of cut off, so I'm probably gonna ask you for those scores.
That's cool. I said that's cool. I got you.
Okay, cool. Man, Slick Rick being so high, that's interesting. Slick Rick's a 1 of 1.
He is, and had he not got locked up, this would be higher for him, and he would be easily considered a top 10 MC. Because I think he missed his prime as much as any MC missed his prime due to personal issues and reasons. Like, he literally lost his prime. He was gone for 4.5 years.
Yeah, he literally lost his prime, and he got here early too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show was what, 85?
85, yeah. So he's locked up. He gets locked up 90, 91. So think about it. From 85 to 90, he makes, at the time, one of the 5 to 10 best rap albums ever, and still arguably so in some people's minds. He's the author of probably 2 of the 10 biggest hip hop songs ever at that time, maybe 3 by then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is all in the 5. Yeah. And so imagine what happens if he doesn't get locked up the next 4 or 5 years.
His impact and influence was shown immediately. Like, he's the guy that's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Shout out to Jay Short. He says, Biggie removed I'm sorry, Biggie removed, proven you can make radio singles and still flow. No excuse for Nicki. Oh, he
Yeah.
proved it. Yeah. No, no, that's real. I think what Nicki was trying to do was make crossover pop records. I don't even think she was trying to make hip hop records. I think when she came in the door, she was trying to do some hip hop Lady Gaga type of stuff.
Didn't play
And
well.
you know, and if we're talking about on the hip hop rating scale, these are the things that are going to make you suffer for that. Now, if we were doing a pop rating, it might be different.
No, absolutely right. And yeah, Slick Rick's great, man. Like, he's
Yeah,
great.
Slick Rick's insane with it. Okay, shout out for Jay Short with another super chat. Okay, this is what we're gonna get to. We're gonna get to Drake. I'm gonna ask you for some of these, but lyrics we got 12 for Drake, and a lot of that was because of questionable pen, I think.
Yes.
Voice was a 7, delivery 8, storytelling 5.
Don't tell no stories either.
Are there
If you got
any
it.
are there any Drake storytelling records?
That's why I said if you got them, give them to me.
Yeah,
Give 'em to
yeah,
me.
yeah. Give them to us if you got. I can't think of any off top. Catalog of
I'm
albums, we went 13. Collaborations, that's a 10.
Yeah.
Longevity of records, what did you have?
9.
9. Longevity of career,
10.
huh?
9.
Longevity of career, okay. Songwriting skills,
I gave him a 9. And that's about some of the other stuff that he's done because there's questionable pen, but he's written for other people. He's contributed to a lot of stuff. And he does write his stuff sometimes.
sometimes,
Most of the time.
right? And he writes R&B records and all that stuff. You know, the Unthinkable with Alicia Keys. You know, that's songwriting skills. Legacy, 10, right?
I was thinking about it, but and that's what we really didn't get a chance to talk about right quick. I put it back down to a 9 just because of what's happened recently. It's been a long time since he's made a project, and the thing with Pusha T did hurt him.
Oh.
Right. Like, what's his legacy really look like the last 5 years?
I don't
Because
know,
it's not
though,
like-
man. I think even with Pusha T,
Yeah.
his
He hasn't
legacy,
been around for 20 years, though, Mike.
his legacy's so strong that people fought Pusha T for even dissing him so hard. They tried to change the scale. They tried to change what battles entail based on who it was going against. I put his legacy as a 10 because they put him in the conversation with the Jays, Biggs, and all that, and I don't think he's there.
Oh, he's not. I told you we need to stop talking about him like he's there and talk about Wayne because Wayne's way closer to that bar.
People are saying Drake's voice is a 10. I've seen this in like, you know, a bunch of different.
Like, I actually, when I thought about it, I thought his voice was one of the weakest parts of his game when I thought about it.
Me too.
We're going to let the people influence that some, and so we'll take it up based on what the people say in the chat. So if
Okay.
y'all really feel like his voice is better than that, then, like, please let us know. Because like we said, y'all have input on this as well. So, you know, ride us about it. And we'll work the
Well,
rest
this
of
same person said Drake body Pusha, in my opinion. See, okay, you can't follow up your statement with that.
We're back again.
Okay, so live performance, what do you give him?
Live performance was the 7 because I really hadn't heard anybody talk about his live performances like they're epic ever.
Content.
I gave his content a 9.
Okay.
You and I talked about it. Like he talks about things other rappers don't talk about.
Yeah, he does.
For better or for worse. For better or for worse.
Intangibles, we got 10.
Yeah.
Hook game, we got 10.
Yeah.
And versatility, we got 10. Drake ended up with a 138.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. So he's one of those people. He's gonna suffer when we take some of these down. Like, because think about it. Like the categories we're taking down, and this might be a good litmus test of why we're taking them down. Well, he scored 10s in the three categories we're making into 5, and that's why we need to take it down because it's kind of unfair to rock him and Kane. That somebody like Drake gets 10 for those when their era affected those things because he got a 10 for hook game, a 10 for versatility, and a 10 for collaborations, and that's why we're making those 5-point scales.
Well, yeah, Drake is a terrible performer, is what Jordan House says, and a lot of people agree that his voice is a 7. I think he does have a weaker rap voice when we factor in who we consider to have stronger rap voices. You really gonna put his voice up against a Chuck D or Method Man?
Mike, you know what came on today? Like I was just on a rap playlist today, and it played everything. What's that rec? Oh my God, it was playing today off Nations, off a Nation of Millions. Where he's talking about this? Well, he's talking about the CIA.
Are you talking about I got a letter from the government the other
No,
day?
no, no. Louder than a bomb. Louder than a
Louder
bomb.
than a bomb is crazy.
And I was like, you want to know what? I was like, I forgot. Chuck's flow, his first two albums, is super wicked.
Crazy.
His flow is super wicked on those first couple albums. Okay, Chuck. Yeah, we gonna. I'm. When I heard that, I was like, I'm excited to talk about Chuck because I'm about to go.
We gotta talk about Chuck next week. We gotta break this down a little bit more too, because I know we kind of went through this in a speeded fashion because it's 6 o'clock and I gotta get out of here. But we're gonna break this down a little bit more, and we're gonna read you guys' comments, and we're gonna assess this a little more on Friday because I don't think we got any new music coming Friday like that, right?
Told you, I think the Liz 2 may drop, and I'm checking for other stuff. Just a Liz.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm reading some of the comments over here. Yeah, people are talking about Chuck D's flows crazy, and yeah, Chuck D's the litmus for rap voice. There's no way in the world we could give Drake anything over a 7.
I thought about that too, and I want you to understand something. Listening to Chuck D, because I had Kane's voice at a 10 until I heard that song, and I was like, I can't have Kane's voice at a 9. I mean, at a 10, because it's not where Big. It's just not there. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard Chuck's voice, and I was like, because that's the standard of what a great rap voice is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and then you got to cut through all of that Bomb Squad production. Can you imagine Drake's voice trying to cut through Fight the Power or Welcome to the Terror Dome?
I don't think people understand how the breath control Chuck has on those albums, Mike. To be speaking so powerfully and forcefully, and the alliteration and pairing of words that he's using, and maintaining his breath with that emphasis, the way he's hitting the mic. I mean,
I'm a rebel expano, black rhino, soul, rock and roll, I'm like a rhino, tables turn, suckers burn to learn. They can't disable the power of my label.
Clear, Mike. Clear. You
Tells
sound
you
like
what I
a crushed glass with his voice, though.
The enemy's public. Yeah, that shit's crazy, man. I'm about to go listen to some Public Enemy now. I'm going to holler at y'all, man, and we're going to cut up this episode. Like I said, we're going to pay attention to all of your comments. And, yeah, great conversation today. Great stuff.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
All right.